2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Yo, what's the deal, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions. Give me a thumbs up if the audio's all good. And Cody, how about how you doing? How's your audio?
Everything sounds fine on my end, man. I'm feeling wonderful tonight. As always, the chat room is lit with all the faithfuls. Underground West, Tommy Doc Martin, RT 1981, Ken Dye, the Den Mother herself, Susan Deans, Tony Dunn. We have a ton to talk about. And nothing to it but to do it, man. Let's roll.
We're hanging out in the Vivid Seats studios. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast, and tonight's show is Buc the World. CMC is MVP. It's episode 19.36. We've got a good show. We're going to be talking about the continuation of the Panthers' win streak now. It's a win streak. 3-0 makes it a streak. 34-27 win in what had to be the best game of the season for fans. We've got that. We've got a preview of the Tampa Bay game in London with Ren Daxt from the Pewtercast. He's co-host of the Pewtercast podcast. Gene from Buc What You Heard was a little busy tonight, so we've got some other input. We'll get his later on, too. We got Raphael Esparza later on. And don't forget, guys, if you are going to a game this season like we did this past weekend, check out Vivid Seats. They will get you the ticket you need for the price you like. Use the promo code OVERTIME in the Vivid Seats mobile app to save up to $100 on all ticket purchases for first-time customers. Go ahead and smash the thumbs up button, and remember to call the Cat Calls line. The number's 252-228-5098. And they can't see anything because I didn't change to the slide. Well, scenes adjusted. Now my beautiful mug with my Minshew mustache coming in, right, is up there for everybody to see. Cody, they got to smash the thumbs up button. They got to go get an I Stand With Cam t-shirt. They got to get a Keep Pounding t-shirt. I know you got one this week. And did you have a good time at the game or what?
Dude, I had a wonderful time, man. I will remember that for the rest of my life. Incredible time. Got to hang out with my boys. It was a super fun game. It came down to the wire. Our cardiac cats, as always. Dude, I don't even mind the 3rd-degree sunburn. It's probably not 3rd degree. It's not that bad. But, dude, I don't even mind it. It was worth it. Fantastic time. Man, so much to talk about. Christian McCaffrey is incredible. I got to see it with my own eyes. I loved it, man. It was incredible.
Let's go ahead and jump into the show before all these people kill me in the comments. They're killing me, and Josh is coming after me. One day, I'm gonna challenge Josh to mash from a jump on a table off a bridge contest like the Buffalo Bills fans have, and I'm gonna make him jump, and I'm not going to. Did you see that video? Oh, that's my ice up pick. I got my ice up pick for the day. It's a great one.
I have a few of them in the holster. I have to determine which one I'm doing.
Hang around for the ice up picks. That's the longest running segment. Let's go ahead and start the show off, guys. I think the number one topic should be CMC. And I got to say this, CMC is MVP. And I don't care what the league says. I know he's the most valuable player on the Carolina Panthers at this moment. So McCaffrey is just killing it, man. What do you do? This is what Olsen said after the Jacksonville game, which Jacksonville had one thing to do, Cody. One thing to do. Stop Christian McCaffrey. That's it.
Couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it. And this is what Greg Olsen said. I don't know if ever in my career I've heard the same play call so many times.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
That's what Christian McCaffrey said.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. When you have a player that dynamic, I mean, listen, I know I was hard on Ron Rivera and North Turner for how many snaps they were making Christian take, running them into the ground. I don't know if it's the best plan for his long-term health, but damn it, dude, this is McCaffrey's offense right now. I mean, we're using him to be the beginning, middle, and end of our offense. I mean, he's the most important player on our team, maybe the most important player of any person in the NFL. A lot of people think he's the MVP, even though it's a quarterback award. Man, I don't know. I don't know how you don't vote for a running back carrying his entire offense to be the MVP. He's on track to have 2,771 all-purpose yards. Are you serious? The man's on another level.
This would beat the NFL single-season record of 2,509 yards by Chris Johnson in 2009, I believe.
Yeah, I read that too.
Chris Johnson, East Carolina alumni, right? Poor guy. Fast, very fast, very fast. Fleet of foot.
Super
Maybe
fast.
not fleet of mind. But, all right, so when it comes to McCaffrey, he's doing everything. I mean, you actually saw him have his most productive game, arguably, and he took a series off for the first time in 3 years. He took a quarter. Did he take a whole quarter off?
And he was blaming himself for it, too. He was cramping up in the fourth quarter, and he said, man, I have to be better. I have to hydrate myself better. And
Eat some bananas, brother.
Yeah, he's already putting it all on himself, man. The dude is the definition of a team player. He's a workhorse, man. He has worked his entire life to do what he's doing right now. And, I mean, it's a testament to hard work and genetics, man. That dude has a family bloodline.
RT1981 asks, who's faster, Prime Smitty or CMAC? I tell you this, I don't know if I would say Dante Jackson. But when it comes to Christian McCaffrey, I saw this tweet that they did something like he ran 22 miles an hour or something on that 56-yard run, which is something like faster than anybody, and it's the fastest play the league has seen this year, is what I saw on Twitter.
Yeah, and then I heard Matt Breida beat it last night, though, by like just a percentage of a mile an hour.
Really?
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what they said on SportsCenter. But yeah, man, dude, at 22, dude, that's hauling ass, bro. Christian McCaffrey is one of the most dynamic players that this team has ever had, man. And that includes someone like Cam Newton on the football team. Man, the prospect of both of them healthy and playing their best football at the same time, man, that's what Panther dreams are made of, man. Hopefully we'll be able to see that happen.
I floated this idea at the game and in the post-game show. Christian McCaffrey, there's no question how valuable he is to this team. And with the uncertainty of Cam's future with the Panthers, now, do I want him to not be a Carolina Panther in the future? No, not that. What I'm just saying is this. We really don't know what Cam's future beyond this first contract is just yet, right? We have some reasons to be optimistic for this season still, but we do have a good reason to believe. We know that Christian McCaffrey's got 2 more years with the Panthers with the 5th-year option. We know that we believe that for the next 3 years, that you could see him easily doing this for several years. He is our very own Marshall Faulk, in my opinion. Cody, I think we should go ahead and pay him now. Make him the highest paid running back in the league today.
They did that with Carson Wentz. They're probably going to do that with Mahomes. The fact that we're even talking about doing that for a running back, I mean, Christian McCaffrey has the opportunity to change the running back market forever. I mean, that's the kind of stats and numbers that Christian is putting up. And yeah, man, I want to hear the opinion of our chat room as well. But, man, would you prefer to pay him now and, maybe get ahead of that curve before the market just booms even further? And it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. They're going to have one of the most dynamic players in the NFL as their primary weapon for years to come, for another 4 or 5 years. I'm on the same page. I said you sign him now. Your boy Marty Herney needs to make it happen.
RT1981 says, I hope Herney extends him in the offseason before he gets really pricey. I say go ahead and do it now. Good faith to him. Secure him for the next 3 years. Pay him a boatload, and then everybody can feel good about it. Now, the question and the problem would be, does Carolina and David Tepper ultimately play hardball with Christian McCaffrey saying this, taking advantage of his personality, Cody, potentially thinking that, hey, he's not the type of guy who would hold out, right? He's not the type of guy. He's a guy, I don't know if that's stereotypical. I don't believe it. I'm just saying this, is that do you play hardball as an organization and just do it the straight away and take the 2 more years and get 3 after that?
I mean, listen,
he's going to want 5. He's going to want 5 after this one.
Listen, if Christian puts up a season of almost 3,000 all-purpose yards, that man demands whatever kind of money he wants. I mean, he'll have more leverage than Le'Veon Bell had, more leverage than Elliott had, way more leverage than Melvin Gordon had. The fact that our franchise savior, Cam Newton, went down, and Christian McCaffrey in the interim carried the team on his back. I mean, I don't know what Christian would do in that situation. I mean, what do you do when you command that kind of contract? I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know what Christian would do in that scenario.
Ken D with the comment of the night. I'm so glad Herney has no history of overpaying running backs. Maybe we should say we're so glad he has a history of overpaying running backs, because maybe he'll cough up the money there, right? Let's continuing on with this. What we saw is Kyle Allen managed to pull off what someone else hasn't done since Kurt Warner, and that is he's the first undrafted quarterback to win his first 4 career NFL games, career starts since Kurt Warner. He did, though, continue to fumble the ball. He must be the only undrafted quarterback who's won every game and fumbled in all of those games as well.
So apparently Allen had his press conference today, and he was saying him fumbling on the opening drive is a tradition at this point. So it's good to
not
see
a good joke. Not a good joke.
It's not a good joke. But listen, they're either on one end of the extreme or the other end. I feel like a lot of Panther fans are. they're either anointing Kyle Allen, the starter, better than Cam Newton, better with the offense, better in every area of football, which is nonsense in my opinion. Or you have people just wanting to shit on him, say he's terrible, is holding the offense back. Listen, man, Allen is learning to play football on the job at a professional level. I think
without a ton of college experience.
Yeah, without a ton of college experience. I mean, you have to temper your expectations a little bit. And I'm happy that he's been able to do what he has done for us in that time.
The Den Mom, Susan Dean, gave us our weekly allowance. She said, "Don't spend it all."
Susan.
She said, "Don't spend it all in one place unless it's at a Panthers game." Thank you, Susan, for supporting the C3 Panthers podcast. Now, Allen, though, he fumbles insane. It's all the time now. I was cutting him slack before. It's just at this point, I feel like he's going to drop the ball anytime he gets hit. But the truth lies in the middle, Cody, is that he is not good, he's not great, and he's not terrible, right? He's been better than average. I would argue better than average. He's been better than whoever's playing for Cincinnati. He's been better for whoever's been playing for Miami. He's been better for whoever's been playing for the Redskins. And he's had no experience, no drafting, all of that. He's been playing an uphill battle on short notice. I like it. I like what the kids, he's got guts. He's got a lot of attitude in the press conference. And that's what we need, a guy who is not afraid to fail.
Yeah, he's not afraid to fail. Again, he also has Christian McCaffrey at his disposal, which, hey, if you're going to learn on the job, dude, it helps to have a Christian McCaffrey helping you out. But, yeah, I mean, listen, he missed some throws. He has made his fair share of mistakes. He's not very confident inside the pocket as of the current point in time. But, yeah, man, you can't really want or ask for more than what you've seen from him. He's not throwing interceptions. I mean, he's playing reasonable football.
If I told you that Cam Newton would not be playing for the Carolina Panthers after week 2 and we started out 0-2 and you thought what our schedule would be, at the best you'd think we'd be 1-4. I mean, that's how I feel is that maybe you win that Arizona game, but going into Houston and winning the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have been surging. Dude, look, Kyle Allen hasn't won these games, but much like I used to say about Graham Gano didn't win us games, but he did lose us games at times. Kyle Allen has, fortunately for us, he hasn't had to win the games, but we have asked him to not lose the games for us, and I think he's done a good enough job there. So let's go ahead and turn. Actually, I got to get in something. Speaking of week 5, guys, 5 weeks of the regular season in the books, and so much is left to be decided. Still plenty of time to get in on the action with MyBookie. How about this prop, Cody? McCaffrey to score the game's first TD paid out 3-1 against Jacksonville, right? You put your money down, you triple it there. Division odds, season awards, in-game wagering is available too. The Panthers head to London in week 6, where they've opened as 1.5-point favorites versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a game total of 48, right? Over, under 48. There will be tons of live betting options throughout Sunday's crucial division match. And that just scratches the surface, folks. We've teamed up with MyBookie this October to give you this great offer. Sign up at MyBookie.ag and use the promo code OVERTIME. They'll match your first deposit. Again, promo code OVERTIME. New users get their first deposit doubled. MyBookie.ag. You play, you win, you get paid. Cody, when we talk about that game that we have been discussing, or we've been talking about Kyle Allen. Has he won or not won? One of the things we've seen Christian McCaffrey carry that offense in so many ways. But look, another part of this team and their winning has been that defense. They have played up to the task each and every week. Maybe not been to completely dominant and shut down, but done enough and more than enough to help us win. They did it again this week. Is this defense good or great is my question to you.
I mean, listen, yeah, I'm a little bit biased, but I think this is a great defense, man. I think our pass rush is booming. We have some young talent on this team right now in the form of Brian Burns, who is just incredible, man. In my mind, he's the defensive rookie of the year right now. I think it's going to come down to between him and Nick Bosa for that race. And, dude, our defense, they're savage right now, and they haven't even had Dante Jackson in the rotation. I mean, it's really a testament to what we're doing up front. And let's not miss on the fact that we're watching a vintage Luke Kuechly right now, leading the NFL in tackles. Dude, the man is balling out, like it was in 2014 and 2015. I mean, our linebackers are playing faster to the football. Dude, we just seem ferocious right now.
Yeah, is the good news is it seems like this team is balanced on defense. We have, is that the front appears dynamic, more dynamic than we thought, particularly without KK. And the back end with Trey Boston and Eric Reed has been playing pretty darn good. You add Dante Jackson to that mix, and you heard Ron Rivera talk about it today, is that he raved about the communication between the secondary and the linebackers. Now, I don't know how and what. I always feel like they always just say this weird crap that's very hard to quantify and measure. He'll be like, we really need to get our communication better. Well, you could just block the guy. Like, that's what I always tell to the offensive line is, why don't you just communicate that? That guy's trying to get past you and crush the quarterback. Just block him. That's my communication. But they continue to say, and I get it, that they're starting to gel. I think they're getting a feel for each other in defense. But another unsung hero, Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson has done everything we've needed him to do this year. A big, big year for Shaq Thompson. You hope he's growing into your own. The question I have for you is, do you have what are your concerns about this defense? Do you worry? How do we, is it Ross Cockrell and Dante Jackson? Is it Vernon Butler? Or do we feel like we're just going to continue to get better? Iron sharpens iron. I think McCoy is starting to play really well too.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron. And one of the things that shout out to Jeff Hodge in the chat, who I went to the game with, him and I were talking about something that I've mentioned before, and it's our tendency to play that zone defense. Good quarterbacks, they know how to shred those zone defenses. But I think Ron Rivera has been okay with that and his tenure here because we build our defense on the pass rush. And I still think we're number 2 or number 3 in the NFL in sacks right now. So it's not a huge problem at this point. But, dude, if you saw what the Colts did to Patrick Mahomes, they played man on man on man, and they held him to 1 touchdown. So I feel that's the direction the NFL is moving. But I don't fault that performance against Jacksonville that much because we didn't have Dante Jackson on the field.
Let's talk about that performance just a little bit. As the defense was not they were good. They had a defensive score, right? They had some turnovers. They did what they needed to do, but I want to pull up the stats here. Is that defense did surrender 374 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette got over 108 yards. Gardner Minshew had another 48 on the ground. DJ Shark just destroyed us. 8 catches for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. He must be the waiver wire pickup of the week in fantasy football. Is it just Dante Jackson? Because guys have moved the ball. If you remember the Arizona game, they moved the ball on us a good bit. It was probably the Houston game that we felt was our most dominant defensive performance, or Tampa.
Yeah, probably Houston, I would say. But what do you think about what I just said? To me, this is a kind of a tenet of the Ron Rivera defense, that in the later half of the football games, third and fourth quarter, Ron Rivera is just kind of content to play that safe coverage, let him move down the field, and kind of hope that our red zone defense is what pulls through, that kind of bend, don't break mantra. And
I
to
think
me,
that's
that's
fine in
kind
a
of where I
game.
see the problem.
I think that's fine in a game where your defense is supposed to win the game for you, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about the recipe we have right now, it's meant to be Christian McCaffrey on offense and our defense. Now, for me, if anything, is that we're bending too much to the run that's problematic. We did get eaten up. I would say, look, Cody, when we lose, that is problematic. When we win, it doesn't bother me. And I feel like the defense has held. I would say this is was the worst game the defense had statistically. I mean, when it comes to yards allowed, touchdowns allowed, points allowed, our passing defense went from the top in the league to not in the top in the league.
It went from the top to not the top.
Just like the Jaguars fell to worst rushing defense in the league after what Christian McCaffrey did to them. It's hard for me to say, Cody. I don't know. Is that you don't want to be too aggressive. I think we've been putting it together pretty well. I would have liked for us. I would just say they converted. In fact, let me find this out. What were they like on third down is the real question, because I felt like we got them into good situational football and we just couldn't close it out.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel it's only really a problem in the third and fourth quarter. I mean, I don't really notice it as much early on in the football game. To me, it's a momentum thing. We have this tendency on defense to let our foot off the gas at the very end.
They were 6 for 13 on third down. 46%.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. That's pretty good. We were 4 for 12.
Dude, DJ Shark is like 6'4", ran a 4.31 at the combine. The dude is just a monster. Whenever you put him on someone like Ross Cockrell or even Trey Boston, I mean, that's a matchup nightmare. So, I think Dante Jackson is going to help with that. James Bradbury going forward might be the most important person.
Dude, he's
on
been
our
so
defense.
Fantastic. He's been fantastic.
He really has. And he always plays well against Michael Thomas and Mike Evans, who's coming up. I mean, that's a huge matchup for him right now.
Well, thank God he plays good against Michael Thomas, because he had a monster of a game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And interestingly, Mike Evans had a terrible game. What we're talking about is Michael Thomas had 11 catches for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. Basically, him and DJ Shark had the same game. Mike Evans, though, was held to no catches, and we would really like to see Bradbury continue to blossom. I would say he's going to quietly get paid a lot more money than people. He's going to be a corner signing for a team that might not be very sexy, a lot of name recognition, but he's going to command a lot of money in the offseason if he continues to play with it like this. Now, I want to give Ross Gold a shout out. He donated to the show, and he asked this. And before we answer it, I got some other news to say. But here's the question: if Allen wins this week, would you bench him versus San Fran for Cam? I'm beginning to think that's not such a good game for Cam to come back. Ooh,
dude, that's a damn good point.
It's a very sophisticated question there. I like it. Now, The reason I bring it up is Cam is not traveling with the team, but he's not in a boot. He showed up to practice. And we hear news about Newton being part of the team, helping the quarterbacks. We heard that from Allen himself. That's the question right here, is if he's ready versus San Fran. Their defense, their front last night looked tremendous.
Dude, I was saying that Brian Burns is the defensive rookie of the year so far. Well, Bosa, he said that race might not be over yet. Listen, that defensive front for San Fran is nasty. But this is the point that I want to make. And you and I already said this. Kyle Allen is not winning football for the Carolina Panthers. Christian McCaffrey is. And listen, we were saying at the end of the year last year that Cam had kind of become too dependent on Christian McCaffrey because he wasn't throwing the ball down the field. Now, we have no doubt that Newton is a better quarterback, has better pocket presence, and as long as we're intent on running the football and throwing it to Christian McCaffrey, I mean, listen, I don't care who it's against. I want the better player on the field, and that's still Cam Newton, without question.
Let me see if I can get it queued up here. This might tell me, guys, in the chat room if this sounds loopy to you.
Why he was there or not, but he was there with me Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, meeting room, film room. It's not good.
You didn't do it to help you.
It's everything, you know. I mean, it's like I always said. He's played against basically all. I don't know if he has played against all these teams in the league, but he's played against a lot of teams we've been playing before. And he's seen the schemes. He understands what they're trying to do, and he's just a veteran player. So I mean, it's always good to get his opinion on things, how he sees things, get a second opinion.
So we saw a tweet today from Adam Schefter, who has finally put this out to the national media that that Cam Newton has been helpful. So tell me your thoughts on Cam Newton about this news with the foot. What does it mean to you?
Dude, listen, there were people that have been doubting Cam Newton's commitment to the football team because he hasn't been standing around on the sideline, literally standing on his foot that he's trying to heal, doing nothing. And people are like, oh, well, he should be there to support the team. Listen, have people not been paying attention to Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers for 9 years now? How can anyone at this point question Cam Newton's dedication to the football team? It's another example of, people are trying to build this narrative of Cam Newton being selfish, Cam Newton not being a team player, being all about himself. And real fans have always known that it was bullshit. I never thought for a minute that there was any credence to the thought that Cam Newton was giving up on the team or didn't want to play football. And I'm happy that Kyle Allen came out and said how much Cam Newton has been helping him and wanting Kyle to be a competent starter for the Carolina Panthers and do well. Cam Newton is a Kyle Allen fan. So it's so unfair when people just take unreasonable shots at him for no reason at all.
So what we get is with Cam, I love Cam because he shows us some of the worst things in kind of human culture. And not him. It's not him. What he shows of people. And what I mean by this is that as we all look around. Look, we've all got different political opinions. We've all got different religious opinions. But we do all, and we have different economic, all of this. But we do operate in a world where generally, a lot of times, it's a good thing to base your decisions and your viewpoints on reality and real evidence. So it's kind of like this, is with Cam Newton is just like when it comes to politics, whether it be your hate or love for Obama or your hate and love for Trump, it doesn't matter what evidence is presented. It doesn't matter. Like it would be like if you went to the doctor and he said, look, here is an x-ray of your lungs. There's giant cancer cells right there. You're having trouble breathing. You're having this and that. You're coughing up blood. I think there's a lung problem. And you say, no, it's my anus.
Yeah, dude, people have made up their minds.
Yeah.
They've already made up their minds.
Because tell me this, what has he done but gotten better even just as an individual since he's become a pro? Right. One of the things I cautioned early in his career was this, Cody, is hey, we can be critical of a guy of his press conferences. We can be critical of his demeanor, but we also have to remember his whole career is not over yet. So and instead, let's look at how he progresses as an individual is my point. And
he's also at the age where a lot of quarterbacks turn it on, man. I've said this before. Drew Brees was not Drew Brees until he was around the age that Cam Newton is now. I mean, look how long Phillip Rivers has been throwing the football, and we've been wondering about him forever. And, people have the discussion about Newton taking so many hits, which is relevant. But listen, Cam Newton deserves the right to determine how the rest of his career will play out.
Let me ask you some questions. All right, and
Yeah,
CK,
okay.
welcome CK to the podcast. CK, we went to the game, we had a good time, and what CK needs to make him feel loved is for you to follow him on Twitter at Codizzle Allen. Go help my man get some followers. CK, welcome to the C3 Panthers podcast.
What's up, boys? Sorry I was late. Work ran a bit long.
Well, that's what
You're
happens
straight, man.
when you are employee of the month every month. All right. Here's my questions. I want yes and no answers only. Has Cam Newton become a better leader for his team in the last 9 years?
Yes.
Boom. That's all you need, man.
Okay. Question.
Yes, boom.
Has Cam Newton's press conferences improved over the last 9 years?
Yes.
Has his his sideline presence, even though he is emotional and we can see his emotions at times, has his sideline presence improved?
Absolutely. Yes.
Has he improved as a quarterback? When you think about his ability to process defenses, to audible, to get guys to jump, I'm not saying has he become the best passer in the league, but has he gotten better?
I think this comes back to the leadership, and I know this is a yes or no question, but the leadership aspect of what he does, right? You know, that's always been a question. Like, is he when he starts to degrade as a runner, is he going to be able to throw the ball? Well, last year before he got hurt, you started to see him actually be able to do the intermediate throws and, you know, things that he had struggled with before. So I think from his leadership perspective, he's starting to realize there are restrictions to what he can do, especially as he gets older. So he's starting to master the other pieces. So I think, yes, absolutely.
Has Cam Newton gotten in trouble off the field?
No. I mean, yes. I mean, it depends upon your opinion.
No.
It depends on what you think of the Jordan Rodriguez.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, but other than that,
no.
and
Did
that's
he
not
do?
even trouble.
But did he really do anything? You know what I mean?
No.
All right. So he made maybe a comment that some people
That offended people.
Some people got offended, but the people are offended every fucking day in our society. So
Has
I don't even
he
count
been?
that.
Have there been any signs that he's been a bad teammate?
No.
Did you see
And
him?
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole point.
So-
Do you have lung cancer? No.
Can I point to something? So there was somebody who posted a something about where Greg Olsen, when he broke his foot, he came back out from the back X-ray room, and he was on his crutches out there on the sideline. And then they post another one of him standing up at the cruising with Cam for charity, by the way, saying that, there's a clear difference in leadership and everything. I'm like, I got so frustrated. I said, it irritates me how much I have to defend Cam Newton to our own fans. It's one thing to other fans, but our own fans, it's just incredibly irritating. And, these people are so ignorant sometimes that they sit there and they talk bad about Cam when you realize outside of Kelvin Benjamin, name one person that has a legitimate gripe against Cam Newton that's ever spoken out against him. Not a single person. So you're going to question his leadership. You think all these people that have left, that have been cut by the Panthers, you don't think they're willing to come out and speak out against Cam Newton if he's that bad of a leader? Come on, boys. I mean, let's be honest.
This is my point. This is my point. We have had zero evidence of any of this. Now, can you say that you think we would be better off with somebody else than Cam? Sure, you could say that. Right? You could always compare him to a Brady, to a Breeze, to already lock Hall of Famers and say he's disappointing. You can compare him to the new hot flavor of the minute in Patrick Mahomes and still say, oh, look at that little puppy. There's a puppy. Oh, my God. It's like a shiny thing. There's the Bat Daddy. There's the Bat Daddy. Hey, welcome.
The Bat Daddy has puppies with him tonight.
All right. Okay, so here, again, all the evidence is pointing that Cam Newton has been nothing but a good thing to our franchise. The question could be, could you turn to another? Is it time to turn? I still don't even think it's relevant of having that. Last question to you guys would be this. Have you ever, to follow up on something CK asked or said, we talked about a lot in the game, have you ever heard of a franchise's best player being so disliked by its own fan base. This would be like if the Bulls didn't like Michael Jordan. Well, he's won all the rings. Let me try to think. It's like, what if Miami didn't like
LeBron
or Marino because he didn't win the championship? Imagine that. Imagine if they. So, all right, that's enough of that. Cam Newton, in Cam we trust. Great question from Ross Gould, though. Is 49ers, though, a bad one to match him up on? Because you better be ready to run against that front. All right, you're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Go ahead and smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the show, and call into the Cat Calls line. We've got special guest Ren Daxt coming onto the show in a little while to help us preview this Buccaneers game. But right now we've got the Bat Daddy 52, Greg, in the house. How are you doing, Greg?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I had some problems with my computer. For some reason, it wouldn't come to the page we were on, so I'm on my phone right now. But if y'all can hear me, then it works just fine.
Yeah, man. Crystal clear.
Loud and clear. Okay. All right. The Panthers are on a streak, guys. And in fact, why don't we just do that? Let's go ahead and jump into the cat calls for a little while and see where these guys want to go.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
Well, we have a comment in the chat room that I just wanted to touch on, which I'm sure we'll touch on a little bit later. But we need to give Dennis Daly some love, says the Can 867, only allowing 2 pressures the whole game against a very good Jacksonville defensive line, man. At a time when Darrell Williams is shitting the bed left and right, Greg Little has concussion after concussion. We don't know if we're going to be able to trade for a player like Trent Richardson. Dude, Dennis Daly, even though he's a South Carolina fan, I'll admit my boy has stepped up. And, man, he might be our answer at left tackle. It does depend a lot on how he looks against Shaq Barrett and Nick Bosa coming up here soon.
Boy, that's a hell of a test right there. But, yeah, I mean, hey, even if it's just for one game, we needed it. And until Greg Little, to have somebody back there that looks a lot better than Darrell Williams. And what a great story. It's kind of like Kyle Allen. You know, your number's called, you answer the call. Right, and in a guy that you didn't have a lot of expectations for. All right, the number is 252-228-5098.
Didn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hey, what's up, guys? Nick up here in Mass. Hey, sorry I'm calling after the podcast. I had to go to work right after the game. But first off, what a fucking game. I'm not going to lie. I was pretty worried about it, especially seeing as how Mr. Jackson wasn't going to be playing and Greg Little as well. But we stuck in there. We got it done. I know that you guys probably brought up the fact that Mr. Allen can't hold the fucking football to save his life when he's going to the ground. But, you know, a little ridiculous. That's why he's the backup. And also, Christian McCaffrey, fourth quarter, going out towards the end. Kind of scary. You know, kind of brings up what you guys have been saying in the past, how we need to start, you know, taking it easy on him or figuring out some way to use him a little differently so that way he's not getting beat up.
That's the answer.
I get it. Some guys, they can just take a beating, keep going. But we need him to stick around, especially right now, seeing how Cam's not playing. You know, it's not good. He goes down. You know, he's a big portion of the offense, especially right now. You know, it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
But love the show, guys. Feel like there was something else I was going to bring up. And, oh, yeah, Brian Burns. Dude is a monster. But
Spider-Man, baby.
I almost feel like he should probably sit out next week, or if he's okay to play next week, that's one thing. Or
that wrist.
I don't want to see him get hurt, especially in his rookie year. that would be pretty bad. So.
All right, Cody, take that call real quick, and then we're going to our guest because I think the name to say is Bonifin running through the Red Sea.
Yeah, listen, I was one of the people that was in favor of playing more Jordan Scarlett and Reggie Bonifant for that reason. I didn't want to run Christian into the ground. But, man, listen, I got to tell you, man, this wave that we're riding right now with Christian McCaffrey, dude, I'm feeling the high, and I don't want to come down, man. I mean, the fact that he is close to having potentially a 3,000-yard season, all-purpose yards.
I'm going to be disappointed if he don't get
or
to 29.
close to it. Yeah. I know
Yeah.
it won't win the MVP, which is sad, but yeah, man. I mean, listen, I'm so pumped for the Christian McCaffrey show right now. I'm here for it. I want him to be healthy, but at the same time, our offense is just such a potent mismatch. It's a group of mismatches when you have Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, and Christian McCaffrey on the field at the same time. Yeah, hopefully add Cam Newton for sure.
All right, you're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. I'd like to welcome in Ren Daxt. You can follow him on Twitter at REN_DAXT, co-host of the Pewter cast. Welcome to the C3 Panthers podcast, Ren.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. It's been a little while since I've seen you guys. It's the year hasn't gone as we thought it was going to go for either of us.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's starting to go the way we thought it was going to go, except for we assumed Cam was going to be at it. And we're going to just kind of pepper you with questions for the 15 minutes we got you, and then let you run on out of here. My first question to you is, who the heck are the Bucs? Are they good every other week? What is this? What's the story? It's like 1 week they're phenomenal. You see their offense clicking. The next week against a defense that is pretty good, can't do it. Every other week team.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. And then also it's not. Jameis in the Saints game the last week, he had what we're calling down here is indecisiveness. He also had it week 1 against the 49ers. He was patting the ball, not trusting his first reads. Then they sort of sat him down and talked to him and said, look, drop back, put your foot in the ground and make the throw. Trust what you see. Trust what you're seeing out there. And then they put up 28 points the first half against the Giants. Then they put up 28 points in the first half. Did we win that game? Probably lost that one. Oh, against the Rams. So
should have won that one.
We did win the Rams one.
Right. Yeah, you did win it. That's right. You covered the 10 points. Right. There we go.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still a learning process for Jameis. It seems like he's prospering, but I think the Saints defense is really legit. Their front seven, especially their front four, they're one of the best in football. They do use a lot of we talked about this a little bit on Twitter. They like to grab offensive linemen and make holes so guys can shoot and stuff. They seem to get away with it week after week after week. But hey, it works, and they're doing fine. We're inconsistent. We're playing like an 8-8 football team.
Right.
The defense gave up 1 offensive touchdown in the first 2 games, and now we're giving up more yards than we did when Mike Smith was our defensive coordinator. The secondary has disappeared, and I think the only thing that really masked it the first couple of weeks was basically Shaq Barrett, because no one else is getting home for us. We only have 2 other sacks besides Shaq Barrett's 9. And, even look at the Rams game, we had 4 turnovers, and they still scored 34 points. It was 40, but 1 was a pick 6. So the defense had 4 turnovers and the Rams still scored 34 points. So the defense got to get better really quick. Bruce Arians called out the secondary, called them soft after
Tell us what he did and I was going to ask you, is he's not adverse to calling out not throwing his players, kind of throwing them under the bus. He's called out a couple of guys on this team, the secondary being one of them, but he called out another player recently too. I forget, it's escaping me.
Yeah, he will use them. He understands the media and he will use it to get out there. And it's also what he does that I've noticed. It sort of stops the narrative of what's going to encompass or really I guess take over Buccaneers, Twitter and fan base for the week. So like when we played you guys and they called a double timeout, right?
Yeah.
And still won the game. Bruce Arians came out in the press conference, walked up before anybody asked a question. He's like, well, we won in spite of me. Other past coaches would have said, oh, I tried this and that. And then fans would have said, well, that's dumb. The whole entire week would have talked about if this coaching staff can make decisions.
So you're saying he's Bill Clinton if he would have said, I inhaled.
Sure. Sure. But, he's been calling out players since training camp, like if he feels they should be out there and they're nursed an injury, he's like, they got to get out here or they might not make the team. And the secondary, well, the sort of debate now is like, is he calling them soft because they're playing soft coverage or is he calling them soft because they're not competing?
It was O.J. Howard. That was the name that I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah. O.J. Howard's not getting open. I mean, he might be the best draft pick that gets zero production. I mean, he's almost like
awesome last year.
He was okay last year. He keeps getting hurt.
He keeps great getting for hurt. My fantasy team last year.
Well, as a tight end, yes, but he could be so much more. Like we think down here that he can be, he can be an Olsen, he could be a Kuechly, he can be an Ertz. Like he's just as good, he's just as big, just as fast, just as much of a mismatch. Too fast for linebackers, too big for safeties, and he's just not putting up that type of production. And this year, he's not even getting open. He had one catch in the Saints game, and that was the last drive where we're down 14 with a minute left, and Jameis rolled out and found him for a first down. That was it. 2 targets, 1 catch. It was a really weird Saints game. So, Evans has disappeared 3 of the games. You guys saw it. One of the games was when he played against you. Every time he disappears, Godwin shows up. But when Mike shows up, so does Godwin. Like, we run the ball fine. Rojo was a huge bust. But he, now he's averaging like 5.7 yards a carry. And when he gets the ball, he can really do some things. And we're excited about him. But, it's the same sort of dumb mistakes where we could say we should have won the 49ers game. We can say we should have won the Giants game. You guys as Panther fans definitely can say that you should have won the Bucs game. Christian McCaffrey makes that first down 97 times out of 100 and probably scores 92 of them. That was a complete fluke play. Like, we were lucky as hell to get away with that, playing a quarterback that only had 1 arm and 1 leg. So we're not like, if you really look at it, we're like 2 and 3. We're like, okay, well, Breeze is out, Cam's out, the division's wide open for us, but we'll have this great game. And then when, it's like, okay, if you want me to trust you guys again, go into this. Like Teddy Bridgewater threw for 1 TD in 2 games and 3 quarters. And he goes and plays us, and he throws for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. And it's like, rookie quarterback comes in, brings his team down from 10-0, throws for 2, runs for another 2. It's like, it was all masked by Shaq Barrett and all he's getting. And now, it's sort of back to like, you know what? Now we're seeing why Bruce Arians went, corner safety on day 2 of the draft, because our corners that were here when he got here, they're not holding up.
Yeah.
Doug, that kind of brings up an interesting point. And you mentioned how many different games have been so close. You're either on the edge of winning or on the edge of losing. And listen, as Panther fans, I feel like we know about that better than anyone. I mean, every season it seems like there's at least 5 games that we either win or lose by 3 points or less. But you mentioned Shaq Barrett, and I kind of want to ask your opinion on this. Do you think Shaquille is a real deal pass rusher, or has he just made the best out of favorable matchups against someone like Darrell Williams, who every Panther fan will tell you should be nowhere near the left tackle position ever in his entire life? Is Shaq the real deal, or do you want to see more from him?
Oh God, I'd be really hard pressed and kind of one of those hypocritical and almost idiot type of Facebook fans, we like to call them here in Tampa. You see anything stupid about your football team, it's because you got it off of Facebook.
Yeah,
we say that
with
too.
The Panthers.
Don't worry, everybody says that.
Yeah. If you want to be a smart fan, stick to Twitter, and that's still not totally safe. If you're super positive, go to Instagram. The answer to your question is I think he is the real deal. He did get a lot of sacks, against the Panthers, but then he's also had multiple sacks games against a lot of other people. We had this game, against the Saints, and he got no sacks. The first game he hasn't had any sacks, and I'm not going to sit here and say he's a bust. But I also argue that a lot of people get their numbers and have made their hay because they get to play inferior competition twice a year. I remember Jared Allen used to play for Minnesota. He used to eat up, whoever. Was it for Green Bay? Maybe he'd get like 6 of his 10 sacks in 2 games. And for the other 14 games, he'd get like 6 sacks. But you're like, hey, I got 10 sacks. I'm great. Look at me. And that's just the way it goes. If you're better than the guy in front of you, prove it. And he's proven it a lot. He's proven it where he's got a 4-sack game, a 3-sack, and 2 3-sack games. He has an interception. He has a couple of forced fumbles. He didn't have a Shaq Barrett type game against the Saints, but it was going to happen because he wasn't going to get 36 sacks this year. He was on pace, but he wasn't going to get it. So, we'll see how it goes. Somebody else has to step up, and that was sort of the disappointing part because as fans we're saying, well, Barrett's eating now, but when they start to put more resources on him, that's going to open up for Villa, Dominic Sue, and Carl Nassib, and we just didn't see it in the Saints game.
All right, I did want to ask. Well, Trill in the chat room did remind this, Cody. Shaq has 9 sacks.
Yeah,
right. I mean, that's a pretty impressive number.
The dude is balling. I needed to hear it from a Tampa Bay fan's perspective to see if they think that he's real or not. I mean, I do too. Listen, whenever you have a pass rusher, I mean, it's game 5 going on 6, and you have 9 sacks. I mean, that's a good number for an entire season. So. Yeah, I mean, Shaq is definitely doing his thing, and I'm sure it's a welcome surprise for a Tampa Bay defense that really hasn't had a super dynamic pass rusher on the team in a while.
Let's build on. I want to build on the defensive discussion. Is that you are installing a new defense under Todd Bowles? Do you think that maybe some of this is growing pains into a new defense, wanting? Like you mentioned, the corners that were picked up, and you guys have had some trouble with those corners in the past. You spent a lot of high picks on some small guys that were nickel corners, the Vernon Hargraves type thing, and then you tried to make it with Grimes, who was around. So it's not like you've ever had that answer, or it's been answered before Arians got here. Todd Bowles comes in, new defense, new defensive coordinator. Is that part of the reason?
I wish I could say yes. I really do.
Oh, wow.
But this is something that I noticed, like week 1, I sort of forgave it. Then week 2, when basically the only person that hurt us was Greg Olsen. Then it happened week 3 with Ingram against the Giants. Then it happened week 4, the Everett and the other guy from the Rams. I can't remember his name right now, but they combined for like 9 catches and 90 yards and a touchdown.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what's great about Todd Bowles' defense. They're going to put the opposite. They're going to stop the run, first off. The gauntlet of running backs that we've gone through, Burrito's not the best. He had a great game last night. Okay, but he's not the best. Then we had to play Christian McCaffrey. Then we had to play Todd Gurley. Then we had to play Barkley, from New York. And then we get Kamara. Like, those were our running backs, and we're still leading the league in rush defense. So Todd Bowles' defense is going to stop the run. They're great at putting another team in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12. Awesome. The problem is the middle of the field is wide open, and tight ends are eating our lunch. So it doesn't really matter if it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, because all you got to do is run a seam or a cross with the receiver, because anything between the hash marks is completely wide open, and you get a first down. And you saw it when we played you. The only big plays you really had that you connected on with Olsen, down the seam, kept you in the game. Same thing happened week 3, week 4, week 5. Like it's not working.
The Saints were 8 for 15 on third down, 53%. And do you think that has anything to do with losing that linebacker from last year?
Quan?
Yeah.
No, he was terrible in coverage. No,
okay.
Like we were happy to
How
see
is
him go.
the rookie doing?
That's the problem. He got hurt against you guys in the first quarter. Hasn't been back yet.
Okay.
So we got Kevin Minter. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We have Kevin Minter, who's doing great against stopping the run, but he's not giving deep enough in zones. And for some reason in his head, and I don't get it because he's a veteran, he feels like, okay, I got to drop 11 yards back and be on the hash in this play. And he'll do that. And then he feels like, I've done my job, I'm here. So anybody running through the zone, running past the zone, he doesn't cover him. It's weird. Of course, I'm oversimplifying it. But again, you guys saw it. Olsen ran right by him for a big play, and it's something that's continued. I'm telling you, the middle of the field is wide open. It doesn't matter if it's a cross from a wide receiver. The sidelines are pretty good. The sidelines and the deep ball, we got pretty well handled unless it's a busted coverage. But, if it's third and something, throw the ball in the middle of the field because you're going to get your first down.
All right, Ren's got to go soon, guys, but fun fact, and then I'm going to pass the mic around one time to everybody. Fun fact, Shaquille Barrett has more sacks than the Miami Dolphins, the Denver Broncos, the Atlanta Falcons, the New York Jets, and the Cincinnati Bengals. He's tied with the Washington Redskins, the Oakland Raiders, the Detroit Lions, and the Baltimore Ravens. That's crazy, dude. That is insane. And ha, Atlanta with 5 sacks, you suckers. All right, go ahead, Greg. Greg, ask Ren your question for the night before he's got to go.
All right. Cool, man. I got a good one for you. I know you were talking about Godwin and God, why do I always do this?
Mike Evans?
Evans. Yeah, Mike Evans. The way I kind of look at that, man, like you said, Mike Evans doesn't show up, Godwin does, and then even when Evans does show up, Godwin does. Do you see like a Juju A-B type there where you definitely have a 1A and a 1B? And do you think if that happens that maybe y'all move on from one of them one day to maybe shore up your line to do whatever kind of needs you need, maybe in the secondary? Or do you think you guys have both these guys locked down for a little while?
Well, Evans is locked down for a long time. And I think they're going to lock down Godwin. He was a 3rd-round pick. He might be the best fantasy steal of the league so far because where everyone drafted him. The guy from Jacksonville. Those two guys are really lighting it up. And, of course, they weren't 1st-round, 2nd-rounders, probably not even 3rd-rounders. We do need some O-line help, but here it is. Here's a little secret. Our GM loves draft picks, loves them to death, does not like to get rid of them. They're like his children. So I don't expect much of sort of going out and finding, a right tackle in free agency or trade, or going out and getting a Patrick Peterson from, Arizona to come in here and giving up a 1st or maybe a 2nd-round pick because he just loves his draft picks too much, and they'll wait to the draft and build. But yeah, Godwin and Evans is locked up for a long time. He's already restructured a couple times to help us out with the salary cap. And Godwin, yeah, he won't be going anywhere.
Okay. Good combo.
So, hey man, this is CK from up here in Roanoke, Virginia. I wanted to, I guess, ask because week 2 was an anomaly in a lot of different ways. I think the Panthers came in underestimating the defense, the defensive line more or less of the Bucs, but also for us, we didn't have a Cam Newton who was able to throw the ball and actually be accurate with his passes. When I go back and I look at the film, the thing that I think is that we had a really good game plan against your defense. We just weren't able to connect on the wide receivers. There were a lot of open wide receivers.
There were.
You guys did a fantastic job of stopping Christian McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. What is your biggest fear knowing that now we have a quarterback that can deliver the ball where he needs to get it? And you don't have the issue of having to worry about spying Newton, right? You didn't have to really worry about it last time, but I think you had to play that way.
Right.
So what do you think the biggest fear, what is the biggest piece to this game that you're concerned about?
Well, it's weird because no matter who plays us, for some reason our secondary makes them look like they're the next Joe Montana. Like you go watch the Teddy Bridgewater film, like his passes were spot on. You go watch Daniel Jones, he was throwing like it through keyholes. I don't understand why quarterbacks play us. Like no one throws a bad pass for some reason. Having said all that, it's an unknown commodity in your quarterback. It still all revolves around CMC. It does. And if we can do what we did to CMC the first game, which we won't because that's a total anomaly, but if we can keep him close to what, sort of his production, not let him do what he did last week for sure, I think it's going to be a game just like we saw. You're talking about at the beginning how, Panthers lose close games and that's what 8-8 teams do. Okay. If you're a mediocre to good NFL team, about 10 of your 12 year games are going to be 1-score games. Someone's going to have the ball with 2 minutes left and someone's going to have to try to stop somebody or someone's going to have to score. Like that's how the NFL is set up and it's fun to watch. If you're 8-8, half the time you win, half the time you lose. We're an 8-8 team. It's all about, and I said this, last week I was on, or last time we played you guys, it was going to come down to who doesn't make the dumb mistake between Jameis Winston and Cam Newton in the fourth quarter. It ended up not being neither one, and it might not happen this week, but it's going to be a close game. Like if CMC doesn't go off, but if he does, we're going to change our game plan and start chucking it all over the yard because we have to, So if it's close, if he does what he does and your quarterback can still pick and choose, because I'm telling you, he's going to look like the next Joe Montana this game. So just be prepared.
Optimistic Buc fans. Optimistic Buc fans.
Don't optimistic me. I've seen these corners.
Realistic.
Yeah, I've seen these corners play for 3 years. That's what happens. Like, I don't want it to happen, but, fool me once, shame on you type of deal. So it's going to, it all revolves around Chris McCaffrey, but even if we stop him, you saw last time we played, it's still going to be a close game. Someone's going to have to score or someone's going to have to stop somebody with 2 minutes left, and that's what a division game should be like.
For sure. And so, Douglas, I wanted to thank you for coming on tonight, man. I have 2 more questions. I'll kind of roll them together, and I just want your take and opinion. Are the Bucs fans any closer to knowing how they feel about Jameis Winston as question. The future of the team, as their quarterback, and what do fans feel about him to this point under Bruce Arians? And then the second part of my question is, if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat Carolina in London, what do they do to win that football game?
Sure. Jameis Winston's always going to be a polarizing figure. He's polarizing, not only our fan base, he's polarizing like your fan base. You guys should know that. You have a quarterback who's very polarizing. Maybe 3/4 your fan base love him, a quarter hates him. Maybe it's more 50-50. It's just the way it's going to be. I think there's nothing that Jameis Winston can do that he doesn't at least get franchise tag next year unless he does something really stupid off the field. Bruce Arians didn't come here to coach Jameis Winston for 1 year and then get a new quarterback.
Right.
Like, he's here for 2-3 years to see what he can do with Jameis Winston. If they have to franchise tag him back-to-back, they will. Jameis Winston will be here. So it doesn't really matter what other fans think. Like, he's going to be here. Minus the Saints game, and I know it's cheating to do this, but minus the Saints game and minus the San Francisco game, those 3 – I know, exactly, first and last. But those 3 games in the middle, Jameis Winston was playing just as good quarterback as anybody in the league.
He does that. That's what he does. Sometimes he's playing great where you think he's going to be great, and then the other times he's not.
And then
go ahead.
Yeah.
What's the point then on winning the game, too?
We need to score more points than you guys.
Oh,
all right.
No, I mean, it'd be nice to establish the run and grind it out. It'd be nice to get, Mike Evans involved this time. It'd be nice to get OJ Howard involved this time. For us to win the game, we can't have Christian McCaffrey be Christian McCaffrey.
Do you any injury news? Give us any injuries that are troubling you guys.
Actually, we're pretty healthy right now. Oh, no. Oh, here you go. Listen to this. Our right guard and right tackle are going to be both out. So we have 2 new starters there. One had a calf and pulled his hammy in the game against the Saints, and the other one broke his arm in the second quarter and finished the game. The right guard broke his arm. Yeah, and finished the game. So we'll have a whole new right side of the offensive line going into the game.
There you go, Ken 867 asked about that.
White should be back. And that's what we're hoping as Bucs fans. Me complaining. I've been complaining about the middle of the field since week 2, and Bucs fans are starting to come down on me. You're so negative. I'm like, look, bro, like, just watch the game. It's open. So I'm hoping, and a lot of other Bucs fans are hoping, that with Devin White and his speed, he'll be able to shore up that middle passing game, on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12. That's what we're hoping. Still rookie. He's got about 4.5 quarters under his belt. We'll see.
McCoy gonna eat, hopefully. That's what we're hoping here. Now,
are you guys even happy with that guy?
Yeah, we're not unhappy.
I would say, yeah. Listen, especially as now that we've lost K1 Short for the year. Yeah, listen, he's kind of been what we thought he would be. He's not. It doesn't have to be a superstar here. We drafted some young, talented players, and he provides that good interior push that we need from him. And I think he fits that role perfect. I think he's been one of the best signings that we've made all offseason.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for us?
I can tell you have an opinion on my man Gerald.
Oh, I got by the end. I just got so tired of Gerald. Like, he kept telling me he's got to do this and he's got to do this, and and all he would do was buy people snow cones. And then when the hard questions came up to him, he would climb up on his cross and act like, "How dare you? I've made 4 Pro Bowls. How dare you ask me that question?" The guy, I'm not a fan of the guy. He's a terrible leader. But hopefully, you guys have people on your, like, you have Kuechly, so he's the leader of the defense. When McCoy got to Tampa Bay, there was nobody, and he was automatically made the leader and was the leader for the next 8 years, and he's just terrible at it. He just is. And, great human, fantastic charity work, very spiritual man, loves his kids, loves his family. If you start picking on characters, Gerald McCoy is someone you shouldn't even start to attack. But on the field and as a leader in the locker room, didn't like him at all. Thought he was garbage.
All right, that's fair.
Boy, you really discard your trash very easily. Let's see. What have you done for me lately?
I've been like this on Gerald McCoy. Look, he sits there and goes on undisputed, and he's a new Panther, and all he does is talk about how the Bucs dished him. Didn't talk about you guys one iota. Just because Dominican Sue got his jersey, he has to go on national TV and talk about how it's disrespectful. Never mentioned the Panthers. Never mentioned anything. You know why he went to the Panthers? Because they took him to a vegan restaurant and people showed up. They made him feel good. He's his
That's
ego.
What we do, man. We make people feel good.
Anyway,
I will say, Undisputed is a very argumentative show, and they asked him a lot of questions about the Bucs and nothing about the Panthers in that show.
He went on the show to say that. That's why he went on the show. He asked to be on. They didn't bring him on the show. Listen, if you guys are happy with 5 sacks and 28 tackles, he's your guy.
All right.
I'm happy with the attention that he draws.
Yeah, I've heard that for 9 years. Yeah, what about the attention that he draws?
Don't say that.
I'm
for
happy
9
with
years.
the attention that he draws.
Only the last 3 were problematic for you guys with him. He was still just crushing it for the first 4.
He was still producing more than the average, though.
Yeah.
Like more than like your run-of-the-mill guy in that position. He was still, a somewhat all-star.
All right, let's move on from Gerald McCoy. Any last questions for us?
Tell me about your quarterback. What's he doing good? Is he a game manager?
He's fumbling really well.
Oh, he fumbles a lot.
He's really good at basketball.
Yeah. He dribbles a lot.
All right, so here's the deal with Kyle Allen, and then I'll let anybody else chime in, is that an undrafted quarterback, a guy who really shouldn't be doing well at all, is playing better than Baker Mayfield, right? And that is he's what we said in the beginning of this show is that Kyle Allen hasn't won us games, but he's done something better. He hasn't lost them for us either.
That makes sense.
And I'll just say real fast, Kyle Allen, he's doing just enough. So yeah, game manager is an appropriate term, but he's really bad at navigating the pocket. He tries to move around too much. You can tell he has that brand new quarterback jitters, and he just needs to settle down. And he should make even more plays than he has made.
Not scared to throw the ball, though. Not scared to throw the ball.
Not scared to throw the football. But yeah, he's learning on the fly. So I'm trying not to be too hard on him, but he has certainly against Houston and against Jacksonville, he left some plays on the field, no doubt.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be another 21-24 game there in London for us guys.
Probably so. Probably so.
All right, so, Ren, a ton of thanks for coming on the show. They can tell them how they can follow you on Twitter.
Sure. If all those Panther fans want to know what a Buccaneer podcasts are saying, the best way to find me is on Twitter at Ren Daxt, REN_DAXT. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football.
When's the Pewter cast drop weekly?
We drop 4 times a week. We do a live show like you guys do where people call in on Sundays after the game. Then we have a guest. Right now, we just recorded from Buccaneers.com, Scott Smith. We do an interview and give our final thoughts on Wednesday. Then Friday, early Friday, we do an email show. Everyone emails us in. We answer those. And then we drop one Saturday after the final injury report comes out, and we give like the keys to the game and how injuries might. And then we talk about inactives and just sort of whatever's gone on at, Buccaneer headquarters that week.
Any thoughts on Greg Allman? We're having him as a special interview on Thursday. He's the beat reporter for The Athletic for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He's the best.
Oh, you like him?
Oh, he's the absolute best.
Good. All right, cool.
You'll love him. Right. Greg's awesome.
Fantastic. All right, look, you guys go check out Ren Daxt on Twitter as well as check out the Pewtercast. You know your team. Learn about the other team. And, guys, let's keep pushing through with the C3 Panthers podcast. Thanks a lot, Ren. You have a great night, man.
Thanks, guys. Good luck Sunday.
All right.
No, you don't mean that.
No, I don't. I don't even. I'm not going to say it back. I'm not going to say it back. I'm about to eject him. It's like eject him from the call. All right. All right. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Let's get back into. Here. Any thoughts though? Just after we've talked from that, just quick reactions to the Bucs fan coming on here. I was actually surprised at that he wasn't more glowing about the team. Yeah. The winning got good to him real quick, didn't it?
But to be honest, though, I think Tampa Bay fans are so used to being hyped up early on.
Oh, you're right.
Season, in the season, absolutely. And then they just tank. So he's probably,
think about
last song and dance before.
Didn't they beat the Saints last year at the beginning of the year?
Yeah,
like the first game of the year.
I think they went 3-0, I think, and then just fell off a cliff.
Open the season, Well, hey, I don't know what y'all started the show with because I wasn't in it quite there, but I do want to talk about one thing. Open up a real quick conversation before we get back into cat calls. Do y'all really think Kyle Allen is as good as people make him out to be? Because
no,
not at all.
Okay.
I think that's cooled, by the way.
I just can't stand hearing this whole, oh, thank God Cam's not in, Kyle Allen's in. Look, y'all.
Absolutely.
Kyle Allen did not play a good game last game. He fumbled the ball 2 times. He had a 56% completion percentage, passed for less than 200 yards. He did not play a good game. But guess what? We won. And that changes everything when you win about the way a person looks at the way the player was. Because I guarantee if Cam won those first 2 games, people wouldn't be thinking the same thing about him as they did. And I just want to ask everybody out there, do you think that Kyle Allen in game 1 and 2 that Kent Newton played could have won those games?
I think he could have won the Tampa Bay game.
Yeah, maybe okay. Tampa. The problem with that is that now that we've had time to watch the tape against Houston and Jacksonville, I mean, man, there were so many open throws. I mean, and we were, I was there. It was my first game that I ever went to. Man, there were some times that Greg Olsen was wide open. McCaffrey could have had a better day than he did. Okay, take that for what it's worth, man. Dude, there was a few plays where McCaffrey was wide open. And I'm telling you, man, Allen does this thing. He doesn't know how to settle down in the pocket and step up away from pressure. He'll drift to the left or drift to the right. I mean, listen, then that's been one of Cam Newton's most underrated aspects is that, some people say he'll hold on to the ball a little too long. But Cam Newton will stand tough and tall and deliver the throw, even with pressure in his face. And Allen just has not been doing that. I mean, we're 2-0 in the past 2 weeks because of our defense and Christian McCaffrey. Undoubtedly.
I agree.
Let me ask you a question on that.
Terrible, though.
Let me ask you a question.
Terrible.
If let's put into perspective, like, so a lot of excuses are being made for Joey Sly's misses, right? One was a block. The next one, there was pressure because somebody was coming unabated to the ball. And then the extra point, there was no reason to miss that, but he still pushed it wide right. And a lot of people are making, the fact that the first kick was blocked because guess who let the guy go by? Darrell Williams. Let Calais Campbell get the ball, hand on the ball. And that's a mental game, right? That's Joey Sly. That's an excuse for Joey Sly to be able to miss those. Nobody's happy about it, but nobody's really saying, oh, it's one bad game. Let's move on. That Houston game, he was harassed. Let's be honest. He was harassed by that defensive line. Yeah. And as a young quarterback, when you know that there's a revolving door on that offensive line of injuries and people being rotated that have never played in a certain position, is that not going through your mind of, I need to get the ball out a lot quicker or I need to run away because I'm going to get hit in 0.2 seconds? Where last game we saw actually a bit of an increase in offensive line play to where that pressure wasn't happening nearly as frequently, but he's probably still got that timer in his head because he's been hit so many times just over the past week. Do you feel like that has anything to do with that?
Oh yeah, they call it seeing ghost. Whenever you feel the presence of the defender, but before they're even on you, you're already trying to move and evade pressure, and you just end up doing too much and causing the play to die.
Yep.
That, and I can also argue that Houston's front four is better than Jacksonville's front four.
Yeah, I think so too.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I thought Jacksonville's was good and coming into this game.
It's because we have a crappy offensive line.
I think we also were able to run the ball so well that it was hard for them to pin their ears back.
Yeah, and what Greg just said, and I even said this when Tony and CK were over here, man. It's not even that our offensive line is crappy, but we're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde when it comes to run blocking and then pass protection. We're subpar in pass protection, but way better than average in run blocking. I mean, McCaffrey does not have the numbers that he has if it's not for the guys in the middle moving the football. And it goes back to Matt Paradis. Matt Paradis has been a huge part of that.
Great pickup.
I am I'm high on Kyle Allen right now. And what I am is Kyle Allen is better than I thought he was going to be. And I thought that that it would be impossible with him. I was worried about that. And that Christian McCaffrey wouldn't be able to do anything because all they're going to have to do is stop him. And Kyle Allen has done just enough to prevent them from teams becoming one-dimensional on them. He fumbles the ball like crazy. It's wild. He was under 60% in this game, 57%. He missed some throws. Yeah,
first time his career, though.
You could have had DJ Moore streaking down the field. He's underthrown Curtis Samuel and some different things like that. But hell, I'm kind of just of the same opinion with Allen that I am with McCoy. Is imagine if we didn't have them right now.
Absolutely.
I know.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Well, with Allen too, like one of my biggest things is I don't think he can throw the ball deep. Like I think he can get the ball down the field, but every time that we've had a deep completion of more than 20 yards, it's been underthrown and they've had to come back to the ball. Every time.
It's been pass interference half the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Because of that.
So I mean, I think that.
That's what I was going to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
I was actually just touching on what you were. I was just touching on what you were going to say. I agree with you. I think that he's thrown the deep ball a lot, and we haven't complained about it because it's either been pass interference or an amazing catch by a receiver that for some reason you just don't see with Cam Newton when he throws that ball and it's underthrown like that. You just don't see the receiver catch the ball like that. I don't know why. It's not put in the different spot most of the time, but it's just not caught. But I give you the same thing. I think you can throw the ball deep.
I know we have to move on to the cat calls, Tony, but I want to pose a question real quick. So Kyle Allen and Will Grier, both of them did not look very good in the preseason. And we have seen quarterbacks for many years now have a bad preseason and then go and look relatively good once the season started. Deshaun Watson is an example of that. So is Patrick Mahomes even. A lot of people don't remember that. Yeah, Cam Newton. Has there been any desire from any of you to want to see Will Grier play some snaps?
Not right now.
Thinking about it, I kind of want to know if maybe he does have it in him to make some of the throws that I feel Kyle Allen has missed. I mean, if Cam Newton is coming back soon, it's a non-issue, but I don't know. I just wanted to get y'all's opinion on that.
The only time I want to see Grier out there is if it's a blowout win. Like if we, if we're third quarter, middle of the third quarter, we're up by 21 points. By all means, let's go ahead and throw him in just to see if it goes bad one series. All right, we're getting our starters back out there because we don't want this game to come crashing back to earth. But I think absolutely the only time that I'll want to see him on the field is that moment because, I would like to see what we have in him. Not in an effort to try to replace Cam Newton, but in the event we don't have the ability to give him what he wants and he has to go somewhere else, I want to make sure we have somebody who actually is going to carry us to the promised land at some point in time. So that's the only reason. But beyond that, I don't want to see Grier on the field at all.
Yeah, I don't even know who Grier is.
I don't have an urge whatsoever. Like I saw him on the field the other day. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, he's on our team still.
I actually, you know what? I would like to see him at some point in a blowout for me to tell y'all that was a terrible idea, and we all knew it. We all freaking knew it.
Well, no, okay. Here's my thing, and you're saying it's a terrible idea now because you've seen him in preseason. When we drafted him, we were all saying it wasn't a bad idea. Like all of us in the show were saying it wasn't a bad idea.
I was not saying that for the third round. Again, we need it fifth round. I've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers do this too many years.
And look at Kyle Rudolph. He did pretty well the first couple weeks. I mean, they're not going to be superstars out of the gate, third round picks.
Unless you're Mahomes.
Yeah, but Mason Rudolph did terrible.
Well, yes, sometimes there's outliers. I'll give you that. There's outliers. Well, if you have the weapons Mahomes has, different too. But that's a different discussion. With Will Grier, I would be willing to say that if Kyle Allen comes out and fumbles the ball 3 times in the first half next week and we lose 2 of them, I kind of want to put Grier in to see what he does.
I see your point there. Depending upon if it's midway through the game and there is just nothing happening offensively, absolutely, let's go ahead and see what we got in Grier because right now Allen hasn't improved. Like I haven't seen Allen improve from where he was. Like he is maintained and maybe kind of went backwards in some respect, but he has not improved. But I know we got to move on. So.
Ross Gold gave $2 and he said Kyle Allen 107 QB rating, no interceptions. And Cody, I want you to answer your own question. If Kyle Allen fumble, I'm hearing so. If Kyle Allen fumbles the ball 3 times, do you want to see Will Grier come in and throw 3 interceptions?
You don't know.
I mean, if he throws 3 interceptions
on his first throw,
then you put Kyle Allen back in.
I'm interested to see what he would do.
Wow.
My thing is all you need is a quarterback to be about 60% completion to win games with our defense. I think that Will Grier can do that, about 60, 57%. Okay, so as long as he doesn't fumble the ball 4 times a game, then I feel like you have almost the same quarterback. Just saying.
Jake Delhomme said when I said Jake Delhomme, I thought really Jake Delhomme at that point. But Jake Delhomme in the chat room said we all laughed at Daniel Jones. Yeah, I'm still laughing. Man, the Giants stink.
Well, he did good one game. He hasn't done good the last 2.
I wish the best for him as long as he.
Yeah, I agree.
I hope all of I don't wish anything good on NFC teams. Let's get back into the cat calls. The number's 252-228-5098. You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the show. Be a part of the conversation in the chat room. Call in or send us an email at carolinacatchronicles@gmail.com. Here's the next call.
Cody, I just want you to know that every time Brian Burns makes a play, in my mind, I just think of you the draft night when we drafted them. Brian Burns, Brian Burns, Brian Burns.
I agree.
Keep pounding.
Brian Burns, Cody, that's your dude.
Yeah, man, that is my dude. I love Brian Burns. I love the whole superhero thing that he's got going on, man. Brian Burns is the man, dude. I mean, listen, he has done everything that we've asked him to do. He's been everything that we hoped that he would be. I mean, we have not had a speed rusher coming off the edge like that in a long time. He fits into our culture. Man, I love him, man. Brian Burns, we could not have made a better selection in the first round than Brian Burns.
Somebody said in the chat in the post after the post game in the YouTube comments, they said they call him Skinny Peppers. I like it. That's I'm wearing my Peppers jersey right now. Did you see how fast he looked when he scooped that ball and ran?
Yeah, it was
he
quick.
looked like he could have been a wide receiver.
But think about this. Irvin was step for step with him though.
Oh, well, yeah, two fasties.
Yeah, either one of them would have run it in. Yeah.
But I had a question, guys. So I'm a little irritated about something, and it's just how it's. I guess it's just a matter of people's perception. But after the San Francisco Browns game, somehow I have not heard Nick Bosa's name once. He gets 2 sacks in that game, and all of a sudden he's Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Ooh.
Yeah, hey, that's I mean, listen, that's a good point. I haven't watched all the film on Bosa. Apparently, he's had a ton of pressures, but no sacks. I think it got overblown because of the Baker Mayfield thing and him doing the flag. And the planting. Yeah, if you've been paying attention to Brian Burns has definitely had the better season.
Think about his versatility.
Yeah, man, the versatility is incredible. It's on another level.
I'm just saying.
My comment.
Yeah, I hear you.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you what I think. What I think that is. It's because NFL is a TV show, and the Carolina Panthers are a small market team.
Absolutely.
That they do not want to promote unless we're going 15-1. They want teams like the Chargers and the Giants and the Cowboys to win everything. So they're going to give them fair calls, and they're going to give them more promotion through the media and through sports analysts as far as how things go. That is why you don't get the respect in Carolina you do everywhere else, which is all the more reason it feels better to win the Super Bowl this year. So,
well,
for sure.
Brian Burns did have Defensive Rookie of the Month this past month. He has been. What I like about Brian Burns is that even though we're seeing these continued flash of big plays, he's doing something every week.
Every week
he does something. It's either nip and a punt. It's something, and these plays are big plays in the game, like
absolutely.
You know, they're game altering plays. I won't say he's alone changing the game, but he's putting his stamp on the game far more than I thought a rookie would needed to do. It's been fantastic to watch. Let's go on to the next call.
What's good, everybody? This is Joe, Oregon, calling in.
What's up, Joe?
I gotta say, love the W on Sunday. Reminded me of a game in 2015, we get those big leads, we let off, then they come back, and then Cam would usually get a win, but defense prevailed. We did our thing, and I'm happy about it. I think it's time to shut down the Kyler Allen shit. I never was a fan of it. He's a good backup, but besides that, that's it. I think he kind of peaked at Arizona. Yeah, I think he's kind of peaked. I think he's a good quarterback, but he's not going to take us over that hump. Our defense isn't that good to just carry him. So we need Cam back. I'm hoping for the Niner game. I'm hoping he comes back to then. But if not, he comes back after. That'll be perfectly fine too. But close to those games. Hopefully not the Niners, but we'll see. Anyway, other podcasts, keep pounding. Talk to y'all later. Peace.
I think I just came up with the next T-shirt idea, guys. What about C3 degree burns, like third degree burns? We're gonna have to do something with third degree burns because it's like Cody's face.
Had to take jabs, didn't you?
Which Cody though is the question? Which Cody?
But listen, though, I do think the three of us got our fair share of sun this past Sunday.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm still peeling my nose.
Yeah, next call.
What's up, C3? Chef Jeff Hodge here.
Oh,
wanted
Jeff.
to say thanks for the
What's up, cousin?
good time we had at and after the game.
Yeah, man.
Really enjoyed being on the podcast. I was going to bring a question up, but I felt like it'd be a better question for Tuesday rather than a post game. Let's say you could know for sure that a certain amount of players that you could get to retire here. We say Cam, Luke, and Christian McCaffrey, right? Who's the odd man out if only two of those guys can potentially retire here? I want to know what you guys' picks are. I honestly don't know. I want to see all three of them retire here, but I think if you don't move McCaffrey to the slot, that'll probably be the one that leaves first, or that doesn't stay and retire. But I want to know what you guys thought about it. I'll be listening and keep pounding.
Man, that's a rough one.
God, Jeff just stabbed us.
If it's a
chef knife.
If this is an opinion piece, that's a different story. But if this is who we actually think is going to retire here, then that's a little bit easier to answer. It's not something that's happy to answer, but I think it's a little easier to answer.
Well, you start.
Let's hear it.
I think if there was only two that could retire here, I could see a situation where it isn't McCaffrey. And I only say that because I think McCaffrey has deep ties in Denver. And that could be a situation where I could see him wanting to go home and play for his home team.
What a great point.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that also can be said about Cam Newton with Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
but he's never played for Atlanta or any kind of Atlanta team.
But does he love Atlanta? So Christian, his father played for the Broncos. Do you think Cam has that much? I mean, yeah, he might have grown up a Falcons fan, but I wonder if he has the same kind of affinity towards them as, say, Christian does towards a Broncos.
That's the thing. The only way I could see that happening is in the event that we just don't see a Cam come back that's dominant and we don't want to pick up another contract of his. Yeah. I could see a situation, especially after this year, where the Falcons move on from the high price tag that is Matt Ryan's contract and maybe find a way to something that's maybe a little more affordable in Cam Newton that gives them a little more versatility, or at least they would hope. Also an inside view on what the opponents are doing, i.e. the Carolina Panthers.
And then we pick up Matt Ryan and have to change our whole aspect of this show.
I will never.
Now we're getting
deep
deep dive.
I will never.
Yeah. We're gonna have to stop with these nonsense hypotheticals.
All right, Cody. Which one retires? Who retires a Panther? Who's the odd man out? If that is the way it goes.
So listen, it's a testament to what McCaffrey has been able to do in such a short amount of time. And listen, I'm loving this Christian McCaffrey ride that we're all on and high off of as much as the next person. But I'm not just going to forget what Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly have meant to this offense and defense, respectively, for the last 8 years in a row. So I love Christian. I want all three of them to retire a Panther, but I'm not down for seeing Cam Newton or Luke August Kuechly wearing another jersey ever in my lifetime.
It would break my heart.
If I have to make that terrible decision, I'd want to see let Christian go play for his dad's team. Luke and Cam, they have to finish here.
It would hurt as much as, if not more than Smitty playing at Baltimore.
More for me. I mean, I can't speak for everybody else. I know everyone has, long time ties to the Panthers. But for me, Cam and Luke, those are my two favorite players ever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, piggybacking off what y'all said, I've got to kind of agree with y'all. I thought I'd have a different opinion than y'all did, but I've got to go Cam and Luke simply because of what they've done. And Cody, you brought it up earlier. Christian McCaffrey's been there this short period of time. There's other factors that go into this, though.
Right.
A running back prime is where McCaffrey is right now is about 6 years. Whereas you can get a good quarterback. I mean, after about 6 years, McCaffrey's going to be an average to below average running back. I hope not, but he probably will be in about 6 years. Okay,
He'll be able to transition to slot pretty easy, though.
I agree, but he won't be as dangerous in the slot as he will as running back. You know, but I say with a linebacker like Luke Kuechly, who's consistently number 1 in the NFL or top 2 or 3 in the NFL, and a guy like Cam Newton when he's healthy that is consistently top 5 in the NFL when he's healthy, I got to go with the guys that give me longevity and the guys that have been there before. Even though I love Christian McCaffrey, I never want to see him leave. If I had to make the choice today, I'd say Cam and Luke. No, keep them there. I want them to retire. Panthers.
Yeah,
I respect that.
I don't like this question.
I don't either.
Let's move on. Chef Jeff, you're depressing, bro.
Yeah. Is that
no bullshit? All 3 of us answered. You answered, man. Come on.
All right. You know,
I'm not letting you off the hook. We all had to do this.
I think you've all given the right answer.
Yeah.
I think my fear is that Cam isn't coming back to be doesn't come back with the Panthers the way he's supposed to, or the way I see him. My greatest nightmare. Yotes put it in the chat. He said, if Cam goes to Atlanta, that'd be a nightmare. NF said it. That's my worst nightmare. It's my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that Cam is the answer to that question. I think though that barring if Cam can just come back from this foot, if this foot isn't a long-term thing, I don't think his shoulder's going to be an
issue.
Yeah, is that so? I think Cam comes back, Panthers, stays a Panther, sticks with the Panthers, retires a Panther. That's what I want to happen. You guys have said it. You're not going to turn your back. Like Cam and Kuechly have made this team for the last decade. And I think Christian McCaffrey could potentially have too long of a career to be with just one team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Is that at some point he could go and be a slot receiver. He could do a lot for guys as a later in his career that you just don't know if it would be in the works with Carolina. Hard question. That's a tough question. Dagger of a question. Man. But guess what? Nobody said. Nobody said Luke.
Keith. Yeah. Luke is just too much of an anchor.
Yeah. He really is. I mean, you really don't.
He's top 3 every year.
Yeah, you really don't see defensively middle linebackers take over a football game anymore. That's pretty much exclusively on pass rushers and corners. But Luke Kuechly from the middle linebacker or inside linebacker now position will just erase your offense. And I mean, the dude, and he's still playing at a high level, and he's the leader in tackles right now. Luke Kuechly is playing vintage Luke Kuechly football right now. And that's part of the reason why our defense is so potent.
I think also we would not let him go because we want him as our defensive coordinator when he retires.
Yeah. I would not mind that at all.
He sees the field that way. I was going to say he leads the league in tackles right now. And you remember week 2 or 1, I can't remember what it was. I was complaining about Luke not showing up.
Yeah.
So we've had 5 games and he didn't show up for 1, and he still leads the league in tackles.
And think about this, Christian McCaffrey's same with Christian McCaffrey in the Tampa game.
Yeah,
absolutely. That was a shut-down game for him. Like it was bad. Like we thought he had 200 scrimmage yards against the Rams. He came back from Tampa Bay. We're like, all right, well, we're back down to a 100-yard average.
North Turner also made Cam Newton throw the football a million times.
Yeah.
And to the receivers.
On Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
It wasn't his fault, man. He's got to run the ball at least 18 times to have a really good game.
Devin White is not enough to erase Christian McCaffrey from this offense. He's just not.
I'm ready for the highlight reel of how many ankles Christian McCaffrey's broken this year. Because, that sideline juke that he always puts on players is just nasty, bro.
You know what I've seen people starting to talk about it, and was it Cody? You were saying you starting to see that Christian McCaffrey's getting love in the national narrative. Like, it's not even that impressive to me anymore. already. It's
bad.
like, I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's putting these stop jump moves on cats in the middle of the line and going, these are old school moves, some of them. Some of them are just like backyard football moves. Like, looks like he's.
Dude, this is Eric Dickerson stuff. Yeah.
I mean,
but he's making these cats look like they're in elementary school.
Yeah.
Like, he's making. This is almost after every time, like, my heart just fills with joy when and it was 2 plays against Jacksonville. I mean, really, there's quite a few against Jacksonville if you count the end, up the middle. But I guess his signature move is starting to become that running down the sideline, defender coming in from the side, and then just letting the defender run in front of him and just continue down the sideline. And it makes these guys look like complete and utter just middle school B team players.
You know what? I always feel like I feel like I see other players trying to do this and they get tackled.
Yeah.
Like, they try to do this and it don't do anything. And McCaffrey does it and people fall over dead.
Yeah, you see Greg try to do it at one time and he just fell over top of the defender.
Oh, God, yeah. All right. The other question.
Christian learned that, though, right?
Where's that?
He learned that whenever he got beat. He learned that when he got beat by the little 12-year-old kid this summer.
Oh no, that was Luke Kuechly. That was Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, that was Luke. That was Luke.
That's where Christian learned it, though. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
yeah,
he learned it from that kid.
Yeah,
the kid.
Yeah,
he got that kid's move. All right.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask this. Oh, you were talking about how he makes people like you almost feel sorry for the guys, right? I thought that's what the San Francisco run game did to Cleveland last night.
Oh, yes.
I thought they were going to make Cleveland cry. Like, I almost cried for Cleveland. It was so unbearable to watch. And when that guy, somebody ran, it was one of these big runs, and this guy tried to tackle him. He just trucked this dude and kept going. It was like they couldn't do anything. Even when they got him, they couldn't get him. That's what Christian McCaffrey is to the league. I still can't get over that Shaquille Barrett stat that he has more sacks than like 7 NFL teams.
Hey, Mario Addison isn't far behind. He's got, 6.5? He's number 2 in the NFL.
He's right
wait, no, not after last night.
No, he's not.
Who is it? Miles Garrett?
Myles Garrett's got 7. After last night.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's still right up there.
Yeah,
but
how about this? I know we have at least 2. We have 2 in the top 15, right? Brian Burns is in there, or at least 2. Mario Addison and Brian Burns are high up that list. So we have 2 of them right now. So we're doing okay, boys.
All right, last call of the night.
Hey guys, Special K, Cody, man, my wife saw you as we were going in. She didn't tell me, so I didn't freaking get to see you. And do we have some sunscreen? I'd be happy to share, right? So I don't know. All I'm saying is that I like to see the big guys, Arma and friggin' Thomas, just the offensive line open up the gaps like they did last week, and just have those guys bang the secondary and the tackles and just wear them down. Let McCaffrey do this thing in the middle. Let Olsen do his thing in the middle, but just let them bang down the tackles and the offensive line. I love to see that happen and just really throw Tampa Bay off their game. That first drive, by the way, against the Jaguars, I loved that. They had the Jaguars on their heels, man. They didn't know what was happening, and that was just beautiful. But I wish I'd have caught you guys. Great game, and let's go to London. Keep pounding, bro. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for all the support, guys, in the chat room. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Share the show. Subscribe. Come on, get one person to subscribe. I feel like we're one of the largest voices in Panther Nation when it comes to podcasting and YouTube and some different things. But we have one of the lowest subscriber groups. But our subscribers are loyal. I guess we only court people that are going to watch each and every week. But thank you for your support. Rate and review. Share the show with a friend. Call in to the Cat Calls line. The number is 252-228-5098. And check out some of that C3 gear. We've got the I Stand with Cam t-shirts and the Keep Pounding t-shirts. There are the ones we're pushing this year. We do a new t-shirt each year. Help support the podcast that way. I'd like to welcome Raphael Esparza, head odds maker for MyBookie.ag, the most trusted sports book in America, the one that I use. Be sure if you are going to use it, you use the promo code OVERTIME. Raphael, welcome back. Week 6 now, odds. Third time on the show. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me. It's a fun time, especially a fun time for you Panther fans. I mean, playing some good football.
Boy, we are rocking and rolling at this point. I think when you win 3, you can call it a streak.
Yeah, I agree. And now, hopefully, the English Premier League fans at Tottenham Stadium will see a good Carolina team, and hopefully your fans will see a bad Jameson team.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The problem with the Bucs is it seems every other week, doesn't it?
It's puzzling.
So, well, let's start with that. Setting the line for a London game, what do you take into account? Because I've read that, well, before last week, the favorite was 15-9 versus the spread. Now, I guess last week was the upset Oakland over the Bears. That was a London game, correct?
Yes.
All right, so now it's 15-10 against the spread. It seems pretty even on the over-under. What do you take into account when thinking about the London game, and should bettors take anything into account, or is it just par for course?
When you're looking at posting a number on an England game, you have to look at who's the hottest team coming in there, because the public is going to bet that hot team, knowing that it's in England, and almost not treat it like a home game, but just treat it, okay, what's the best game? What's the best team on paper? What's the best team on a football field? That's why some books opened this one up around Tampa Bay -1, quickly got bumped all the way up to Carolina -2. And over the summer, we thought Tampa Bay might be a little bit intriguing team. We actually opened up Tampa Bay -2 throughout the summer. So some very interesting numbers on this game, and I continue to see probably Carolina money piling in. This could be exactly what happened last week, where the Bears opened up 3.5 and 4, and got bet all the way up to 6.5. Would not be shocked if we see Carolina do the same thing on this one.
Get Carolina early if you want them. Now, last week I heard that there was big money made, or you could have made big money if you would have bet Christian McCaffrey to score the first touchdown. How the heck do you prop bet a game or set lines for prop bets?
Yeah, I mean, if the season ended right now, he got my vote for MVP. I mean, everyone was all over Lamar Jackson for the first couple of games, but he was playing against the Sun Belt division. Look like it. What Miami, the Jets. I mean, come on, really. But what McCaffrey has done is just, I mean, he's the whole offense. I mean, the run game, the short game, it's just unbelievable. And he's Kyle Allen's best friend, and I think that helps Kyle Allen, because now he doesn't have to put so much pressure, knowing that he has McCaffrey not just running the ball but passing. But yeah, we're probably gonna have to bump at least put 5 to 10 extra yards on all McCaffrey props this week, because what he did last week was just unbelievable.
What has happened to his the props for MVP? I know Mahomes has been in the leader, and you mentioned earlier Lamar Jackson, but man, every week the odds have to, it's not as long of a shot for Christian McCaffrey to be that MVP.
No, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how it flattens out. So, I mean, we'll adjust them when it comes to that. But yeah, MVP odds has just been really interesting for right now. I mean, yeah, we have so much money on Mahomes. Last time I checked, he was plus 150. But McCaffrey, who was around double digits pretty much all season, because everyone had Holmes, of course, Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott was hot. I mean, he went from I think 6-1 now to like probably 20-1. But McCaffrey's probably right up there, probably 7-1. Last time I checked, it's going to be interesting because there's some other names that are popping up. Deshaun Watson, who had a big game for Houston last week, his numbers are popping up. So it's going to be very interesting what happens week after week. But right now, he's my MVP.
Most of the lines this week are pretty tight, except for 2. The Giants are getting 17 points from the Patriots. Patriots 17-point favorites. I just feel like you should always bet the Patriots against the line. You would win more times than not. And I don't even know if 17 is enough to scare me away at all from for picking the Patriots against the Giants.
I could see that, but I mean, the Giants have been playing a lot better. I mean, everyone thought they were going to be a garbage team in that division. But I kept on saying they were going to be much better than they were than Washington. So I think the Giants will play this a little bit closer. That's a big number. Granted, the New England's 5-0. But I think they've only covered 3 of those games, and those 2 big double digits, they have not covered. So, I mean, yeah, they covered last week against Washington, but they didn't cover against Buffalo. They didn't cover against the Jets.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see why that's happened. If you're going to bet New England, bet it now. But if you're going to bet the Giants, I say wait, because I would not be shocked if this thing goes up to 17.5.
All right. So the other big game is it looks like Baltimore's heavy favorite against the Bengals. The Bengals, are they still on no wins on the scorecard for them?
Yeah, they're 0-5.
Yep. All right. So the Bengals can you place a bet? What would be the odds if I wanted to bet that the Bengals or the Dolphins or a team was going to go winless for the whole year?
We had prop bets like that up early. We took them down, but I think I'm going to readdress them. If the Bengals lose again this week and the Miami loses in the toilet bowl this week against Washington, I might put up a whole bunch of betting props. Well, all three go winless,
that's what I want to do. I want to do a parlay on both of them losing.
If the loser loses between the Washington, Miami, and let's say Cincinnati, I'll do a whole bunch of betting props where they both go winless and stuff like that. So I'm gonna probably wait for that one, but because I could do probably a lot of fun prop bets when it goes to those two teams.
Yeah, because right now, how do you set the line for a game like the Redskins at Miami? I mean, you've got a team that it was already terrible when they had their coach. They fired their coach in some weird 5 a.m. meeting. Which everybody knew was coming, and then you've got the Dolphins. To me, they are, and you've got the Redskins set as the favorite here to go on the road and beat the Dolphins with no head coach and no players. How do you? I think I want the Dolphins.
I'm going to be rooting for the Dolphins, but let's face it, both teams are garbage. I mean,
Yes.
Washington's last two games, they scored 10 points total. And if you're a head coach and you have a meeting at 5 a.m., you don't go. Call off, say you're sick or something. Don't go to that meeting. Try to keep your job and your health insurance at least one more day longer. But yeah, for this thing right here, I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take Miami, and I think the public is going to bet Washington in this game for some odd reason. But I'm going to take Miami. I think if you're going to look at quarterbacks, give me Josh Rosen over any of those quarterbacks Washington has. I'm going to take the plus points. I think Miami wins this one.
All right, and there is the 41 is the over-under in that game. The San Francisco 49ers are surging right now, and the Rams have shown some vulnerabilities this season. Now, I would say that the Monday night performance by the 49ers, did that move the number at all?
It did a little bit. I mean, it moved probably a quick 4 points. It's between 3.5 and 4, depending on which shops you like it. But I agree on this one. This is going to be very interesting. If you're the Rams, you need a good showing in this one because you've been slumping. You've had some bad injuries, especially on defense. You need a big win because you don't want to be slipping down on the seedings right now. Maybe slipping down for maybe not even making the playoffs. But in San Francisco, short week, so I think the money will probably come in on the Rams. We have 3.5. Would not be shocked if this thing closes around 4.5. But let's face it, what does the 49ers really play? They played Cleveland. They played Pittsburgh. They played Cincinnati. They played Tampa. They played the Chargers. It's not like they played elite teams like the Rams have played. They played the Seahawks. They played the Saints. They played Carolina. I mean, the schedule is much tougher than the Rams did. I like the Rams in the spots, but I can guarantee you we're going to be big Jimmy G fans on Sunday because I think the public's going to bet the Rams.
I bet you are. Now let's turn to the NFC South. Why is the Jacksonville Jaguars New Orleans Saints a pick 'em?
Yeah, this one's. I could see Jacksonville winning this game. It got bet up. It got bet up a little bit. So when we first opened up that number, it's pick 'em. Some shops have 1.5. We took some money on the Saints this afternoon, but this one's interesting. I understand why we made Jacksonville the small favorite, just because I think the money's going to come in. Let's face it, Bridgewater only had one really good game while he's been playing in. That was last week against Tampa, and we just saw the real Tampa Bay team. Not the Tampa Bay team that threw up 50-plus points against the Rams. So Jacksonville's played much better as of late. I was really impressed with that win, come-from-behind win at Denver. They beat Tennessee. But they lost to a Carolina team. Let's face it, they hung around that game the whole time, scoring 27 against a defense that I thought's been playing really, really good, the Panthers D. I can see why the public will probably take Jacksonville in this matchup.
Falcons are on the road against the Cardinals. The line is 2.5 favorites for the Falcons. And at this point, I don't think I can pick the Falcons to do anything right. And I know that is – I mean, their defense is atrocious. They can't get clicking on offense. It's just a mess over there, and it shouldn't be. are the Arizona Cardinals. What do you think about the Cardinals here?
If you don't like this game, don't bet it. But if you like this game, why would you put your hard-earned money on the Atlanta Falcons? They have shown us nothing, absolutely nothing all season, because they're not only just 1-4, but they're 1-4 against the spread. I mean, I can guarantee you the public is going to pay them. We're probably big Falcon fans on Sunday at well, but I'm sorry, State Farm Stadium, the Cardinals got one win already last week. I think they went back-to-back wins. Take the home dog on this one. I'm actually shocked because I think the Cardinals' offense is getting better week after week, and I'm sorry, that Atlanta Falcons team is just garbage. Quinn, he better not answer the phone on Black Monday when the season's over. He better just maybe take the phone off or start your vacation early, because he will be the first head coach fired on Black Monday.
I asked you a couple of weeks ago what the odds were. You said you guys don't. The NFL doesn't really do it, but boy, if he makes it to that Monday, he'll be lucky at this point. All right, the last game of the week is Monday night, Detroit Lions at Green Bay Packers. If you want to get a little action late, this is a game that might interest a lot of people. Oh, actually, before I got that, I had a good question about this. Is how'd you guys make out in that Dallas game last week? I bet did people bet Dallas?
Yeah, because we actually moved it to 4. Some shops had 4.5 before kickoff. We actually got off that 3.5. So yeah, big win for us. I mean, thank you for the NFC North. Bears losing and the Packers winning at Jerry's World, because those two outcomes were good for us. My wife's actually shopping now with all that money we made.
Now tell us about this Packers game. The Lions are not as bad as people say they are. I don't think. But I think the Green Bay Packers are far better than people think they are.
I totally agree with you. And what a great Monday night. I'm sorry. What a great division right now. But I think best division in football, because all 4 of these teams play defense. Lions, Bears, Packers, Vikings. Outstanding defense. I believe right now best defense in the division could be the Green Bay Packers. I think that's why they win. You could get the Packers at plus 110 right now for the division. I think that's outstanding value to get plus money, because I think they're the best overall team, defense and offense. I mean, we all know about Vikings. Kirk Cousins sometimes can't get that long ball to go his way. Bears quarterback issues. I just think with Aaron Rodgers and that defense, I'm a little bit shocked that it's short at 4.5. This one, the public will move it up to Green Bay. I would be shocked if this is not a solid 6 by kickoff.
Would you be surprised if this was a low-scoring game?
Yes, because both teams play defense, but the Green Bay Packers don't. We still remember what happened last year. I think it was before New Year's. I want to say it was either the 20th or the 30th or the 29th of December, where the Lions beat the Packers 31-0. So they remember that. So I think we might see. I don't want to say a butt whooping like that, but 47. That's a pretty high number for a big defense, especially the way the Packers controlled both the lines of offense and defense against the Cowboys.
All right, Raphael, tell them where they can go and bet money, get paid real money, and feel good about doing it.
Besides your house, you can jump over to MyBookie.ag, get that 100% sign-up bonus. Click that on there right now. If you put up a deposit of $200, we'll put an additional $200 into your account. Fantastic, because you got football starting on Wednesday this week. College football Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday of football. Baseball playoffs, the hockey has dropped, the NBA preseason. This is a great way to watch some sports, put some action on, ignore the loved ones, and bet some sports.
Make sure you use the promo code OVERTIME. That's the promo code OVERTIME. Raphael, we'll catch up with you next week.
Take it easy. Have a fantastic week.
You too. All right, guys, let's kind of take a break here and turn our attention to the larger NFL. We're going to move on to our interview with Raphael Esparza, head oddsmaker for MyBookie.ag. Guys, what we got to do next is make our picks for the week, and the good news is we only have to make 3 because there's 2 teams that we're playing to, right? Panthers versus Bucs in London. Panthers right now the line has moved from a 1.5 to 2 points favorite for the Panthers. It is a home game technically for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Revenge game for Gerald McCoy. Cody, who do you think is winning this week?
So, yeah, I was hoping that I wasn't going to be a jinx and that every time I picked the Panthers to lose, they would win. And then when I picked them to win, they would lose. I picked them to beat Jacksonville, and they did beat Jacksonville. So I'm gonna keep it alive. I kind of agree with our guest. I do think that there are some exploitable holes on their defense, and I don't know. I'm interested to see how many points they put up on us. Right now, I'll say 24-17 Carolina gets it done.
CK, what you got?
So the part of this that I think goes our way, and if there's anything to be said about home field advantage, F.A. Obata gives that to us in London.
Yep.
Tell me there isn't going to be a large showing for the only, UK son of the UK that's going to show up in London and play. Like, tell me that's not going to be a Panthers fan base there the entire way. Anyway, beyond that, I do think when I go back and I even look at that game against, let's even take into account the Rams game. Let's forget about the Panthers game. The Rams game, the Buccaneers were killing it, but they were also playing Jared Goff, who, mind you, if you guys didn't know, has one of the worst quarterback ratings from the second half of last year on. If you haven't looked,
Jared Goff?
he is second to last in quarterback rating from, I think it was week 13 of last year to week 5 of this year. So you're not playing a quarterback who's been playing very well. So take that out of the equation, take that defense out of the equation. I think even if you go back to week 2, we had a fantastic game plan. It just wasn't being executed because we had a quarterback who was just not playing to his capacity. So I think when we look at that, I think we have a lot of holes to exploit. I think the Panthers win, and I think, and this is overly optimistic, but I think we put at least 35 points up on that defense. I think Christian McCaffrey maybe has a bit of a step back from what he had against Jacksonville. He's still over 100 yards, but it's going to be 35-17. Panthers.
All right, Greg, what you got?
Okay. I'm very close to what CK has here, except I'm a little more not optimistic, I guess, but I feel a little better about the Bucs offense than he does. And based on the weapons they have and what we've done so far, I sat DJ Chark in all 3 of my leagues this week because we have the number 1 passing defense. And I lost all 3 of my games this week because I sat DJ Chark. So I'm going to say it's going to be a 34-31 win, Carolina. We're going to squeak it out at the end, and we're going to win by 3 points. So
34-31. All right, I'm feeling confident too. I'm thinking I like this 35 number, and I think it's going to be 35-24 Panthers. And this is my reasoning. Can you stop CMC twice? No. And if you do, you sell out. You sell out entirely to stop CMC. And what we heard is that their secondary is trash. They said, you heard the guys say it, they can't cover down the field. So if you sell out for CMC, I think that Norv Turner's going to make you pay with play action. And we've got some horses in the stable that can run, and it's going to be hard to keep up with them. Number 2, home field advantage definitely goes to F.A. Obata, right, is that we know there's a strong Panther fan base in the UK already. They're vocal. They're proud of it. I don't know what that is for Tampa, but you add in F.A. Obata to the equation, and boom, we got the home field advantage. You also heard number 3 point. They've got 2 injured offensive linemen. Underground West pointed this out. They're starting 2 backups this week. It's time for McCoy to eat. The Panthers win this one handedly, and I said 35-24, and that's being a little gracious, but I do think that our team has surrendered points. Let's go ahead, and while we did say this though was a home game, I got something to show you guys. And here's a little video that the Panthers put out about.
Hey, I'm Raphael Esparza. We're about to come to London, but before we do, I want to know what my teammates know. If you get a question right, I'm going to give you a piece of amazing dairy milk chocolate. What do Londoners call French fries?
I don't know. Hot potatoes.
What do Londoners call French fries?
Chips.
There you go. What does the word knackered mean?
Knackered? I don't know, man.
What does the word knackered mean?
No chocolate for me.
Means tired.
Man, this chocolate is fire.
I know. What's the name of the queen?
Oh, Lord.
What's the name of the queen? Elizabeth.
I like Trey Boston is smart.
All right, which way should you look when crossing the street in London?
Okay. Both ways.
Thank you, Reggie.
That's actually right. Yeah, correct. There you go, get a piece of chocolate. What color are most cabs in London?
Red. White.
I like it. The answer is black. What is a lift?
It's what you got this morning.
What is a lift?
Elevator.
Hey! There you go, get a piece of chocolate. What is the tube?
The tube?
Yeah.
The TV.
Look at that guy's face.
I said the TV.
What is the tube? Television. Why does everybody say television? The tube is an underground system.
Willy Wonka, I will come see you. Appreciate y'all. Thank Evie for having me. I'm going to meet y'all at the London.
At the London.
Who is that guy with the mustache? There is a
Christian Miller, bro.
Christian Miller.
That's Christian Miller?
Yeah,
Christian
dude looks
Miller,
old.
Yeah,
That
he's rocking the 70s mustache.
That mustache is the truth. In fact, that's what
Gardner
this
Minshew
Minshew
stuff,
mustache
yeah.
just turned into a Miller mustache.
Dude, he looks like a 1970s highway patrolman on a motorcycle.
Yeah, he looks like the dude from Super Troopers.
Yeah.
He does. What's pretty cool, man. I don't know if you guys follow him on Twitter, but he actually does these things where he has people private message him and with ponds, and he'll go fishing at your pond if you let him.
He likes to fish, huh?
Yeah, dude.
I did see the video with him and Caroline Can talking about fishing. So that's he's an outdoorsman. He does all kind of hunting and stuff.
I think Vegas would tell us a bunch of suckers were putting all the money on Carolina this week is that the money's heavy the other way. Maybe the line's going to creep up. We'll see what the line does. Next,
I may change one piece if Dante Jackson isn't playing. That 17 jumps up to 28.
Yeah.
Well, all reports are indicating that he will play, though, unless I'm wrong, unless I read that wrong. I do want to say, I mentioned it earlier. I said one more thing. I know we got to move on. James Bradbury versus Mike Evans is the number 2 matchup to watch. The number 1 matchup is Shaquille Barrett on Dennis Daly.
Yeah, you're right.
That is going to be a huge matchup. We're going to see the difference between Shaquille Barrett on Darrell Williams and Dennis Daly, and we're hoping that's a night and day difference.
And we'll
So we're for sure out. Trey Turner's for sure out, and Greg Little's for sure out.
I believe so.
Well, we don't know, but we're assuming that Greg Little's probably going to be rested through the bye at this point.
Tuesday. Good change.
Don't want to let that
You don't want to
get
risk
worse.
that. Yeah, I think they're going to play it safe on Greg Little since this is his second scare of the year.
Okay.
And all right, so next game is New Orleans versus Jacksonville. This is crazy. This game is a pick'em according to Vegas, or not Vegas, according to MyBookie.ag. 44.5 over under. The Saints, can they continue their run in Jacksonville? See, we start with Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think they're going to do it. Listen, I'm feeling right now it might be early, but it doesn't matter if it's Breeze or Bridgewater. If we're going to win this division, we're going to have to beat the Saints. We're not going to be able to depend on any other football team. I'm tired of hoping for other football teams to take them down a notch. The Saints are going to be annoying until forever. And if we want this, we're going to have to do it ourselves. So, yeah, I think the Saints are going to win. I'll say 31-17.
That's a good score. All right, what you got, CK?
Man, let me ask you this. Is Jalen Ramsey going to play? Do we know that yet?
I don't think so. I don't think he's ever going to play.
Yeah, I think he's done. I don't think he's going to play.
He wants out.
Did you hear this nonsense? Who was it that said that someone a student of mine told me that someone offered them 5 draft picks for Jalen Ramsey. He said no.
Oh my gosh.
5.
Yeah.
What?
They were probably like a second and then like a 2022 fifth rounder and something crazy.
Exactly. Had to be something like that. That's
Gee,
way
like the Bills just traded away Zay Jones for a 2021 fifth round draft pick. Oh, my god.
You go to the Raiders.
Yeah, dude.
That hurts my heart. Who you got, CK?
I got. It's so hard to pick against the Saints, man. I got to go to the Saints, and I don't think it's close. I think it's a 35-point ball game just as well as the Panthers, and I don't think Jacksonville puts up nearly the production. I think they do 14 points.
Greg?
I'm still like 4 games behind, so the smart thing to do would be to play the odds and go for an upset. But I'm gonna go against that, and I'm going to say the Saints take this game because they're at home. 27-21 Saints.
I just feel like this is
28-21.
28-21. I just feel for
me.
No,
they haven't missed field goal.
Yeah, I feel for me that I'm with CK is like, why would you pick against the Saints? There's no evidence. Again, it's like that whole Cam discussion at that point. All the evidence is pointing that the Saints are going to win somehow. Now, so I'm taking the Saints until they lose. Right? Is that I'm not picking against them until they lose. And I think it's going to be – I would wonder, can Alvin Kamara replicate what Christian McCaffrey did a little bit? We'll see if that happens.
He's not as good of a back. He can't do it. He's not as good of a back.
And by the way, I'm so glad you said that, Tony. I know you hate me. I know you're trying to move on so bad. I've said that Christian McCaffrey is a better player than Kamara for a long time now, and I even got heat for it a little bit on the show. But if you look at the offensive lines that Kamara has had versus what Christian McCaffrey has had, and the production that McCaffrey has put up.
Let's put into the mix Michael Thomas as well.
100%. There has been so much more around Kamara, and they've been around equal production. Now you put more talent on the Panthers, and look at what Christian McCaffrey looks like now. So I call my shots.
I think Christian McCaffrey has a much higher ceiling than Kamara. So absolutely agree with you there, Cody.
Well, I think I don't know. I don't know if it's right comparing either. I mean, I think they're great players. I think one of the things is Kamara's season that has had the Christian McCaffrey season already. I mean, he had it his rookie year that Christian McCaffrey has this year.
He had a great year, but he didn't have the year McCaffrey.
He's not having half the year. Yeah, he didn't have half the year that McCaffrey's having this year.
He did not cross 1,000 and 1,000, and McCaffrey is well over that at the year like he is. Okay. He has not had nearly the year McCaffrey has.
I think the longevity will be there for McCaffrey. I think Kamara's a fantastic player, though. So,
don't discount that. Don't discount that.
He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. Top three or four in the NFL. But
he's still behind McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem saying that at all. I might not have said that with certainty last year, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have said, hey, they're both equivalent type players. But, yeah, McCaffrey has had a start this year that is,
I agree. Yeah.
Is just sensational.
What's interesting is and I'll move on, I apologize, but what's interesting is Kamara has had a step back as far as production from last year, and they don't even have Ingram on the team.
Yeah, because they got, what's his name, who's pretty good, man. He's always been pretty good.
Murray, Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I've always liked him. I think he's a great combo back to put with Kamara. But also, hey, Ingram is pretty badass still, too, it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember all the mock drafts that said, like the redoing the draft that said we should have took Lattimore or we should have took Alvin Kamara instead of Christian McCaffrey. Nah, dude, I'm taking McCaffrey every single day over all those drafts.
I think also, too, it's just, it's an easy answer with Christian McCaffrey, even though I said that some of it was because of how good he's doing this year. Did any of you really think about taking Kamara overall #1 in your fantasy league? Because I took Christian McCaffrey #1 in my fantasy league for without question.
Yep. It wasn't even a hesitation.
And after that, after that, it was Saquon Barkley. It wasn't even Alvin Kamara a question after that. It was Saquon Barkley.
Right. Yeah, and I still took McCaffrey. I thought I knew McCaffrey. I said it before the season started. Then I thought McCaffrey was going to be the best back in the league by the end of the year. And I'm not. I mean, I know Saquon is sensational, but I'm ready. I know McCaffrey is just as every bit as sensational in my opinion. All right, last game to pick for us is the Falcons at the Cardinals. The Falcons. How glorious is this? The Falcons suck more than I even wanted them to suck almost. Like, I don't even know how to say it. Like, I was like, more than I even hoped they sucked. They suck so bad. Dan Quinn, if he makes it through the end of the year, to me, it will be a godsend for him and his health insurance plan. And second, I know we don't fire a lot of coaches midstream. Washington just did. But what is wrong with the Falcons? They are broken.
Their offensive line is in tatters. They have almost zero pass rush. It's another season of, the Falcons. The Falcons have so much talent on their offense, but they're inept, man. That coaching staff can't get on a roll. You saw what good coaching will do. You see what it does with Teddy Bridgewater, with old Pouty, Sean Payton in New Orleans, and you saw what Kyle Shanahan did for Atlanta. This is a bad football team, and but when you aren't able to protect your quarterback or rush after the other one, you're dead on arrival. I'll jump into my prediction right now.
I'm picking the Cardinals.
I'm taking Arizona. I'll say 33-17.
Man,
I'm tired of getting burned by the Falcons, man. That's the thing, is I'm gonna pick them again. If I pick them this week, Cody said 33-17. What you got, CK?
I think it's I'm doing this out of hope because I picked them last week against Houston, and they didn't win, and so I'm gonna pick them again this week and hope that they just do exactly what they did against Houston.
Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm hoping that that's the case. I think that the Falcons win only because the Arizona Cardinals made Kyle Allen look like he was an elite quarterback. So when you actually have talent that is going to be Matt Ryan's arm, which is pretty, as overrated as he is, he's got a really great arm. And then you put those receivers out there. I think it's 28-21, and that's just because I think Murray escapes any pressure that they allow to get through the line.
All right, go.
This is my catch-up game. I think that the Falcons are garbage. Look, here's the thing: is you need to win the NFL on offense. You need a mid to high level receiver, a mid to high level quarterback, a mid to high level running back, and at least one player on the offensive line that is a mid to high level player on the offensive line. The Falcons lack that. Therefore, I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals 17-14 Arizona, and that's my catch-up game. I got to catch up with Cody, man.
Dude, if the Falcons lose to the Cardinals, they might be the worst team in football. And there's some bad fucking teams, man. And we're talking about the Dolphins.
Them to win the Super Bowl. Everybody was like, Atlanta's going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, New Orleans and Atlanta. No, and then I love nothing more than to see the demise of those shitbirds, dude. I love it so much. It fills my soul with joy.
Do the Cardinals have a taste for winning? They won over. You know what? I'm going with the Falcons. I can't do it. I can't do it.
They're hungry, dude. They're very, very
going with the
hungry,
Falcons. Man. I can't do it. I look at this. This is the stat that changed my mind.
Man. Take it.
Look, Kyler Murray, 20 for 32, 253, no touchdowns in the air, not bad. 10 for 93 on the ground with a touchdown. That's pretty cool. David Johnson, 3 catches, 65 yards, 17 for 91 on the ground. Nothing great, but here's the deal. It's not that stat. It's this one. Tyler Boyd, 10 catches, 123 yards, and a touchdown from Andy Dalton. Julio gets it done. That's what I'm saying. All right. And, all right. Those are our picks, guys. Now, we're going to, if you listen to the audio podcast, we've got Raphael Esparza coming on to go over the betting lines. Now, guys, we need to finish up. All right. Now that we've done that, let's hit the final segment of the show, the Ice Up Picks of the Week. And this is where we get to ice up, to toughen up, to tell someone to get it together. Cody, do you want to start this week? You said you had a lot.
Yeah, I have no problem going first. So listen, I'm sure many of you have probably heard this story by now involving the Kansas City Jayhawks and the performance that they decided to have before one of their games or whatever. They decided to have the one and only Snoop Dogg perform. And this drew a ton of controversy.
Haven't we already had this story before? I feel like we had this same thing last year, too. But
dude, so listen. Snoop Dogg does a show for the Jayhawks, and he has money guns and a girl on a stripper pole, and, being fucking Snoop Dogg. And now they're issuing all these apologies, and the NCAA doesn't promote this kind of action. Look, hey, dumbasses, did you not know who Snoop Dogg was before you asked him to play a concert? Like, have you ever heard of Snoop Dogg in your entire life? What other performance did you expect the man to put on? It's not a Snoop Dogg performance if there isn't a stripper pole and a woman riding up and down that pole on the stage, man. Come on, dude. We're talking about Snoop Dogg. So, man, it's another example of the outrage culture. People trying to clean up their act for the sake of saving face. And it's so disingenuous, man. So to the Jayhawks and the NCAA for walking back a Snoop Dogg performance, ice up, son.
It's reminiscent of 2016. I knew I've heard this story before. The Georgia spring game, they hired Ludacris to do the halftime show. And part of they paid him $65,000. And part of his request was like condoms, 2 bottles of cognac, and like Skittles or something. And they, here it was. An ironing board, several bottles of alcohol, 2 packs of AA and AAA batteries, 6 T-shirts, a hairbrush, rechargeable toothbrush were all part of his grocery list. So pretty funny there. Ice up to you. What you got, Greg?
Okay. I got, I'm going to ice myself up.
Okay.
Ooh, another one.
I don't know if anybody's done it before, but I'm icing myself up.
Do it all
because,
the time.
I am, what is it, 13-2 right now, or no, 12-3 right now, 3-12 right now in fantasy in my 3 leagues.
That's a lot different.
And I could have, it's a lot different. And I could have won every damn game I played. I could be 14-1 right now if I had just started the right damn players. So for me, overanalyzing, this is the reason why first-year players are always the best, because they don't overthink things. I've overthought it every week. I'm icing myself up, and I'm going to win at least one of my leagues this year based on the fact that I am last place in every league right now. Ice up, Greg.
Ice up. I believe in you, though. You'll turn it around.
Is anybody ready to ice up Greg for being in 14 different fantasy football leagues? Or 7 or whatever? No, 7. That's at least 4 fantasy football leagues.
I honestly don't know how Greg.
I'm in 3.
Three?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I could be 14-1. Yeah, we're 3-5. So.
Dude, there are people that are in like a million different leagues. I don't know how they can.
I can't even keep up with the C3 league. I can't even keep up with the show. All
yeah,
right,
my life.
Sitting DJ Shark, man. Sitting DJ Shark is so horrible. I'm never gonna sit him again, ever in my life.
DJ Shark, the Shark. CK, what you got for us?
God, dude, don't even say it.
Hey man, I think this might be unpopular, but I'm gonna go back to so let's just in honor of Jordan Gross. Jordan Gross, when he retired, he said it's one of the greatest honors for him to have played in one place and retired and just been loved by an organization like the Carolina Panthers. And so many players long to be able to play in one place and not go around and move to all these different teams. So when you retire from a place with the ability to be a one-team person and then come out of retirement to go to the Jets, I love you. Trust me, I love you, Ryan Khalil. I do. But you made one of the worst mistakes coming out of retirement to go to the Jets and be a part of one of the worst offensive lines in the history of offensive lines playing for the Jets. I hate that happened. It bugs me to my core because I wanted to be able to have that pride of saying Ryan Khalil was only a Panther and never was anything else. Yeah. But then you left and you went to you left in a really good manner, and in your retirement speech said almost the exact same thing. So many players just love the idea of being able to play in one place, and you were so honored to be able to just say that. And then you go to the Jets, and to a team who, by all accounts, were definitely going to be a contender, have not been a contender. I hate it because I love Ryan Khalil, but I have to ice you up, Ryan Khalil, for going to the Jets to be a part of one of the worst teams in the NFL thus far.
Are you going to throw ice at TD?
TD didn't retire, though.
Oh, okay.
TD was cut.
That's true.
That's a good point.
TD.
That's an excellent point.
And I'll let you know, going to the Jets, be careful, because the Jets may still be a playoff team.
What?
That they very well still be a playoff
this
team.
year? Or like in 2024?
They may still be a wild card.
Dude, they still play the Patriots and the Bills.
As soon as Darnold comes back, man, they are still going to be a playoff contender.
Darnold was there, and he didn't do anything.
Well, okay. All right. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team, but I do agree with Greg. I do think that the quarterback situation has been just terrible for them. I think when Sam Darnold comes back, that could be. I think they could be an 8-8 or maybe even a 9-7 team. But that all depends on Sam Darnold. They do have talent.
10 sacks.
Yeah, I agree.
10 sacks in one game.
Hey, Le'Veon Bell is missing Pittsburgh right now. I'll give you that. He is missing Pittsburgh.
I'm just saying.
Quentin Williams is hurt too, and Quentin Williams is a beast.
Do you, as the Jets organization, right now, you have the ability to continue the track you're on, build your team even more than what people thought they were going to be this year, or you can come back and hope for an 8-8 season, get no real draft capital by doing so. Because right now, I think it's a lost season. Even if they come back and run the table, they're not going to win the division with the New England Patriots. The Buffalo Bills are 4-1, and they're not looking like they're a pushover right now because they did give it to the Patriots when they played them. So I mean, I think
haven't played anybody but New England, and they lost to them. So
barely, but you could say the same thing about New England.
201 in the chat room says that.
You're right.
201 says the Jets are the New York Dolphins. So take that for what you will.
Man. Anyway.
All right. Here, my ice up pick.
Yeah.
My ice up pick. I gotta put it up on the screen. So Barrett, you guys won't be able to see it, but
Hey, I'm Raphael Esparza.
Oh no, that's not it. What am I doing? All right, here. Gotta
icing up
I
FA?
did not add. No, I'm not icing up.
Come on, Tony. Get your stuff together, man. Let's go.
Oh, man.
I had the kids by myself, man. My wife wasn't even.
Casual fan, man. It's a casual fan running the show.
So right. You're so right.
My favorite casual fan, though. So.
What is this? Oh, quick access. Come on, bring it to me. Ice up. Here it is. All right, so this pick, here it goes. It's up right now. If I can make it smaller. All right, so this guy wrote a letter to a Penn State fan.
Oh, the dreadlocks. Oh, man. Sorry, my bad.
Dave Peterson. So Dave Peterson wrote this letter I've got on the screen. It says, Dear Jonathan, my wife and I are proud older graduates of Penn State. We follow all Penn State sports, football, wrestling, volleyball, gymnastics, basketball. I call bullshit right away. Right away, I know this guy is full of shit saying he follows gymnastics and volleyball.
And volleyball.
Shut up. We love it all. That's what he says. We love it all. I played all the sports in my younger days. Man, this guy is old as shit. Still played full court basketball into my 50s. Like that's nothing to brag about, homie. Every 50-year-old man does that today. So shut up.
Can I stop you 1 second?
Yeah.
I remember reading this. Was he not using Windows 95 when he wrote this?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh, okay. So he typed it up on his Selectrix. All right. All right. So he says, love the competition, but never had the size or the talent to reach your level, though the desire was there. Though the athletes of today are certainly superior to those in my days, improper semicolon use, we miss the clean-cut young men and women from those days. Watching the Idaho game on TV, we couldn't help but notice, well, your awful hair. Surely there must be mirrors in the locker room. Don't you have parents or a girlfriend who have told you those shoulder-length dreadlocks look disgusting and are certainly not attractive? We congratulate you on your game against Pitt, but you need to remember you represent all Penn Staters, both current and those alum from years past. We would welcome the reappearance of dress codes for athletes. You will certainly be playing on Sunday in the future, but we have stopped watching the NFL due to disgusting tattoos, awful hair, immature antics in the end zone. Players should act as though they've been there before.
Oh, ice them up, Tony.
Dave Peterson, first of all, act like you've been there before, you classless son of a bitch. Oh, you just acted like it. This is why black people say America is all racist, right? And this is why, and I know, look, is that white people want to continue to act like, hey, we're not all racist, like, and this and that, and we're not. But this is a fucking dickhead. Not only are you a racist.
It's that 1%, dude. It's that 1%.
Yeah. Can somebody get their grandpa, please?
I don't even care if the guy's black. I don't even care. Like, I mean, I don't care if it's like, this is just being a jerk. At some point, you've made so many things that, and this just makes the world about you, Dave Peterson. You are a has-been, you are a never was, and you have always will be a dickhead because, and I'm telling you, ice up, man. I mean, and learn how to use a fucking semicolon.
Learn how to use it. Go ahead.
Semicolon.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you fucking asshole. Not only, hey, you give grammar a bad name, you're a Penn Stater and you don't even know how to use semicolons, asshole.
Also, why does anyone need your fucking opinion? Like, why are you writing this? Who gives a damn about what you have to say? Why does it matter to anyone other than you who wishes you could throw back America to a time when you liked shit better? Like, dude, just shut up.
That is the power of a keyboard warrior, buddy.
Yeah, 100%.
Go away. That's a typewriter warrior, brother. That's Microsoft What is it? Works?
Yeah, dude. Did you not see what I'm talking about? Like, it looks like he's still using that old. He's just using an old ass computer with the Windows 95.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're 97. Yeah.
I can't. I mean, it just makes me so mad because, is that this is where. So you have a group of white people who think that people overblow how much entrenched racism is built into people's hearts, minds, and the system. Right, there is a group of white people that don't recognize, they just don't understand that it really exists. And this is it. This is worse than calling somebody an N-word, in my opinion. Not it worse. That's not. It's like this is
not worse, but it's there.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing to me. So to you, ice up. And to all my black brothers and sisters, I'm not black, but damn, you're beautiful. You're beautiful, even if you got some dreadlocks. I think Dave Peterson is just mad he can't have dreadlocks.
Tony, you mean to tell me you're not black?
Oh shit! I let the cat out of the bag. I'm also not
Dude,
white. I'm also
whoa,
not white. That's what I am not claiming to be white.
I mean,
man, that's all there is to it, brother.
All right.
You just knocked me on. You just knocked me on my ass. I didn't know that was possible.
Right.
I'm 0.2% Nigerian, guys.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Dude, I'm German, Jewish, French, Canadian, so I'm as white as it gets.
I don't know
and
what
I'm
I am.
a mutt, dog.
I'm half Italian. I don't know my biological father. I mean, I know his name. He was not Italian, so I'm half Italian, half something else. But I am not getting my DNA done because in case I decide to become a serial killer later in life, I'm not giving my fucking DNA. Damn, DNA.com or whatever.
Hey, Tony, it's not even about what you give out, though. Like, one of your kids can get the test, and then you're still in the same boat.
I can't get arrested then. I can't get arrested. Dave Peterson, watch your back.
Guys, it's not about what we were in the past or our parents in the past, it's what we are right now. And right now, we are all loving people that don't give a damn about who you are, or what you think.
But we'll murder you over Cam Newton. Send this letter about Cam Newton, Dave Peterson. Send this letter about Cam Newton.
Hey, no, that Tennessee mom already did it, bro.
I know. Man, she ain't got nothing.
Is there a danger, Tony, that you might become a serial killer here in the future, or
should I be worried about these 3 games?
You want to talk about?
Did just learn that I'm not black. So how surprising would it be to learn that I was a serial killer?
I mean, dude, my whole world is upside down right now.
No, he has to see the Joker movie before he becomes a serial killer, because apparently the Joker movie makes everybody a serial killer.
Oh, yeah, true. All right,
Yes, see that first. So see that, he can't be a serial killer, because there's nobody else seen that movie that wasn't a serial killer before. So
I know we got to wrap this up, but the funny part about this is the fear of Tony being a serial killer, and the fact that you just said, well, we just found out he wasn't black, and I'm not going to make light of any tragedies that have taken place, but somebody posted the most hilarious meme, and it said, after any shooting, and it's just a picture of Betty White. It's Betty White.
Oh,
anyway,
right.
Sorry.
All right, you're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. We've got another Tuesday in the books. It was supposed to be a short show. Whenever I say it's going to be a short show, it goes long and strong. Follow us on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. Subscribe to the podcast. You just look up C3 Panthers podcast wherever the hell you're listening to it right now. Share it. Just click the button and share. Do a solid for your man. Do a solid for your brother right here, Tony. All right, share the show. Help support us however you can in whatever way. And it's by coming here on Tuesday nights and downloading the podcast. Cody, how can they get after you on Twitter?
At Cody Lack, CODYLAC. Hit me up. Talk about anything football. Just about anything you want. I'm all about it, man.
Oh, Josh from Mass did bring up my real ice-up pick was going to be that kid that ate it. Have you seen the Buffalo Bills fan who did the dive? I'm going to send you guys the best, worst video ever, and it is awesome. All right, and so you can follow Cody on Twitter. He likes to talk everything, including politics. No.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I've been known to dabble. And if you're easily offended or pissed off, dude, come at me, bro. Or maybe I'm not the profile for you, but I'll have an intelligent discussion with anyone if they're willing to have it.
CK, we had a blast at the game, man. I can't wait to do it again, and we need to get him some followers. CK, how can they follow you on Twitter?
It's going to be at Codizzle, just as you would imagine, and then Allen, Allen.
Like Kyle.
All right, I'm putting it in the chat room. Go follow CK and Greg. What can they do to find you on the intranets?
First of all, I'll say like Cody, man, if you have a problem with somebody differing from your opinion, then go grow some balls, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.
It takes courage and intelligence to hear somebody else's opinion that disagrees with you and not get pissed off about it. So if you get pissed off about it, you're probably not very smart.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And you should always be open to the fact that maybe you're not
wrong.
Correct. Exactly, 100%.
But you can find me at the Bad Daddy 52 on Twitter. You can also find my other show at the SCS Podcast 1 on Twitter. We are doing Star Wars centric for the next few weeks. New Hope coming up Friday. Hit me up with any questions for anything you want to. It doesn't have to be Star Wars, but anything you want to do in the fantasy genre. So, but yeah, go Panthers. Keep pounding.
All right, that's the C3 Panthers podcast. We'll see you after the game on Sunday. Early show for us, guys, Sunday. Early game for us. And also, if you're still listening, don't forget, I'm going to be dropping bonus podcasts with some beat reporters this week on Thursday. You guys have a great night. Keep pounding.
Keep
pounding.
Peace.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.